Broadcasting live from the asylum called Planet Earth. Like to say, what's up, architects of humanity, maxed out. Mr. Super Sidewinder, good to see you, brother. Always a pleasure, man. Calex, what's it about? It's about people that walk around with mental cages. And when you go to talk to somebody, they basically have all of their preconceived notions. So it's a pretty wide variety of topics. Mr. X, good to see you, brother. Yeah, Scribe wanted to talk. I mean, he was going to bring up, you know, Tupac and stuff and 5Gs and, definitely the 5G thing. If you look into, if you look into some of the possible side effects, tissue heating, anybody can type in 5G side effects on Google. And, in my opinion, to stay within the guidelines, there is a lack of long-term studies. There's limited research on the long-term, low-level chronic exposure to the high-frequency radiation. They say it's possible carcinogen, some studies on radio frequencies. But if you go to talk to somebody about this, like the thumbnail shows, they have a mental cage around their head. You can't say anything to some people about certain things. You try to talk to them about something and they're out to lunch. And we see this with what just recently happened with the White House correspondence. I mean, if anybody thinks that that is something other than a sitcom or soap opera, they have the mental cage on. And people, to look at that, to look at the level of corruption that it just constantly has gotten worse since I can remember. Reagan, Bush, Clinton, Bush Light, Obama, Biden, Trump. I mean, this is like it. I mean, this is ridiculous right now. I think they're saying something about him trying to get emergency powers or something like. I mean, the whole thing, if you understand that the whole thing is criminal from the beginning, then it doesn't really seem that shocking. You've broken through some of the bars on the cages that they put around our heads. And you can think, but again, the other person's going to have a cage on their head. And this is a metaphorical mental cage that we see when you go to talk to somebody. The bars on that cage are made up of the expectations of others. I mean, people put themselves in it. They are kept in line. It's like Bonhoeffer's theory of stupidity, where it is more of a sociological thing than a psychological thing. So a person can have a learning disability and still be able to discern what's right and wrong. But when you have this collective ignorance that we see throughout society, these pockets, these groups of ignorant people that just argue with one another, people don't have conversations. They want to debate. I'll debate him. I'll do that. And it's like, the word debate comes from debauch, to beat each other up mentally. Why would someone want to do that? I mean, that's basically, they try to keep us in this the evolution type of thing, where, it's might is right, survival of the fittest, the lie of the alpha male. If anybody really looks into it, the real alpha male is the one that seeks peace, that keeps people together, keeps tribes, keeps troops, groups of animals. It works more with cooperation. Even though the dominant male might mate, the female still mates with lesser dominant mates. And those lesser mates always survive and go into the next generations. We see that for sure, which totally destroys the Darwinistic lie, which we see was based on racist supremacist type stuff. Mr. X, good to see you, man.
Good to see you, MD. Glad you're streaming again. Glad you're back. So that's great.
Yeah, just for a little. I don't know how long. Scribe, I don't know why he said it didn't show up in StreamYard, but he can always hit the link and jump on if he's listening.
Sure. And I've been doing a little. I know you're saying some videos. It's okay if you haven't seen them yet, but they're great videos. about evolution, and it attacks it from all angles. These top scientists, they say one of the best scientists in there, I can't remember his name. He has like 150 patents. He calls evolution a joke. This is one of the
Where?
top scientists in the world, and he says it's a complete joke. It's a
Mhm.
fabrication, a lie. It doesn't make any sense whatsoever. And he's a top-rated, I think, biologist or something like that.
Is he religious or not?
No,
AI,
no,
good to see you,
they
man.
actually don't promote religion in the video, which is good because they
Yeah.
don't promote Christianity or anything like that, which is great. It's
Hmm.
purely scientifically based.
Yeah.
Everything is
That's
science.
good. That's good. I went on this guy's stream. It was either yesterday or the day before.
Hmm.
It was late, and I jumped on for like maybe 20 minutes. And one of the guys was religious. He was Jewish religion, and I think Italian. And I mean, he was like saying, "Oh no, you're just you sound like those Christians, and you're this and that." And that's when I said that I think they're working in tandem with the evolutionists to get people to run over there. I mean, whether they know it or not, because
Hmm.
remember, somebody who's ignorant is ignoring the fact. It's not an insult; it's a description to say, "Look, you don't even know." Like if they would have worded properly instead of acting like crackhead Christians to where it's like, oh, this proves the Bible, this proves, and it's like, well, come on, man, stop acting like a basehead, and that really is embarrassing. I see it with Stephen Meyer. I mean, the stupidity of it. You see somebody with such a strong intellect that can break down the processes of the genetic, the CRISPR editing, all of this stuff, and then he'll say on another stream to one of the just ghoulish type Christian authorities and say, "Oh, baby Jesus made all of the phyla and all," and I'm like,
Wow.
"Holy smoke!" The level of insanity of
Yeah,
nutcase clown show. It's demeaning, man. It
it is.
throws all of that research down the drain to anybody who's like still has the cage on their head that was just about to break the bars because they know for sure science will show you that the stuff in the Bible is not accurate. You're going to have some truths
Hmm.
with a whole bunch of lies in between. I had a friend today who's very religious, and he basically is like, God put, Trump into power, and I was like, holy,
There you go.
and he wasn't like pushing Trump, but he's saying, well, you just have to go along, and you can't, they'll pay in the next life or whatever. And I'm like, holy. I said, so yeah, so just watch evil run over stuff. And I'm like, it's this type of ignorance that lets things get destroyed like this. It's like I told him, I said, look, man, um, you know, look, what about he's like, honor your mother and father and all. I was like, yeah, great. I said, but what about a mother like just recently? I think she was trying to sell her infant,
Hmm.
and I said, and not to, I mean, so what do you say about that? And it's sad because the guy's a cool guy, and it's just I see that people are really mentally broken,
They are. They,
and you can't talk to them. When I look at Ken Hovind, excellent science, but then he goes into the nutcase rant, and it's like, okay, sure, one thing I'll give him, hey, you got a good, you believe in what you believe in. But if when you talk about the evolution, you're supposed to be like, well, look, my personal belief that is not scientific is this right here. This
sure.
is what I believe in. But I don't need to bring that up,
Exactly.
you know.
That's the problem. It's just it's just when they bring that up, I would just shut them down or okay, we're done.
Scribe said, I guess they kicked him off to see for the free version was trying to join. Yeah, I don't know what happened, man. Try hit the link and join, man, because yeah, when I didn't pay for the thing, Scribe used to be able to join like backstage with me. He could run the show, but I
Oh,
guess they
I
they
do the phone.
stopped that,
That's
man.
probably
Yeah,
last
yeah.
week.
I tried to talk to StreamYard, but they just, that's like, man, that's messed up, man. That's really messed up. The fact that because with the free one, I think they were still given 2 seats. They must have changed it. I don't know what happened, man. Yeah, it's sad, man. Brian, good to see you, man. Oh, it was a pleasure. Mr. Superside One, it says people like fairy tales. They're simple. Yeah, man. Yeah, Mark, good to see you, brother. Yeah, they want the fairy tales.
But
Let's
those
see.
videos I sent you were purely scientific. There is no
Yeah, no,
bullshit.
those were good videos. Yeah, they
Oh,
were
you saw
definitely
them,
Red
yeah,
Blur. Good to see you, brother. And Mr. X, thank you for the support, bro. I
absolutely. I mean, they
appreciate
even
it.
brought up the fact that Darwin, when he came up with his theory, he thought they all thought the cell was a simple jelly-like organism. You
Well,
know?
even in Darwin, some of his writings, which I think the fake professor and these guys lie about, he had in some of his private letters to this guy talking about the primordial, the soup thing,
Mm,
the BS soup theory of, oh, yeah, these chemicals and, these things could have formed, these, uh, these chemicals together. And it's like, so that's where they're getting all of this
right.
abiogenesis crap, and
Yeah.
they're pushing that. Lee
And you know
Cronin.
what's crazy is he came up with this theory in what the mid 1800s.
Hmm.
I
Yeah.
think we can all agree our scientific methods are far more advanced than back then in the
But
1800s.
even before him, because they had guys that were pushing this clearly out of racism, because
Oh, of
the
course.
thing with the Christianity was they were seeing black people adhere to the Christian doctrine of nonviolence more than any white people. And you
Yes.
had a few white people that were like, look, these people are actually living it right. And these other people are monsters. And some white people saw that. Like when Dietrich Bonhoeffer, I think he was saying that when he came to America, that the God had left the white Christian churches and he went to the black Christian churches. Now we know they're both just closet city.
Yeah.
So it's just horrible. And nobody really talks about that. You still got some people who were religious, Muslim, Christian, Judean, Hindus that are good people, but they're small amounts.
No, no,
It's
if
not it's not the majority.
yeah, that's why I'm not here to defend religion in any way, shape, or form because
Yeah,
it's
no, I know you're not. I'm just saying that
I
these
go on other
guys,
shows and talk
it,
religion.
yeah, when I see these guys start to call me religious, like when I was on Confluence, I think that's the name of his channel. So it's only got like maybe 2,000 subs, but he gets about the same amount of people watching, maybe 15 or something. They were doing a stream today, but it was about something that, yeah, it was whack, some video game thing. But when they were talking about the evolution stream 2 nights ago or something, the guy, the host was cool because he's like, yeah, you brought up some good points. But one of the guests or one of their regulars, he was just, you could see the ignorance, man. And I was just like, man, this guy is just, oh, all right, Scribes backstage. Hey,
Hey,
what's up, man? Yeah, I don't know, man. That's messed up that StreamYard did that, man, to where you can't hop on without me, man. That's messed up, man.
no,
I
I just
gotta
want to look
get,
at science. That's why I
yeah,
stream. You know, it's
yeah, the
just
science, and it's okay, if you have any religious beliefs,
no,
that's
no,
cool.
no. You know my religious belief. My religious belief is be yourself.
Yeah, yeah,
Live
it's more of a
the way you want.
spirituality thing. Yeah,
Yeah, don't go looking for religion to solve anything. Be
yeah,
who you are and follow your passions.
yeah,
That's my
yeah,
advice to anybody.
yeah. No, they definitely. Yeah, I don't know why StreamYard would have did that with the seats, man. That's really messed up because with the seats, it's
Mm.
supposed to give you two seats, but unless I don't know if I can check the settings from here. I think I gotta hop out of this to check the settings.
Well, things I can still log in. I just don't see the show. That's weird. So it's like, yeah, they
Nice.
took off the ability.
That's kind of odd
Oh, the
because
show. What do you mean you don't see the show?
like when he comes to go backstage, let me see if I can hop off and you guys can still stay on. I'm gonna just
What's going on, Scribe?
That's funny. He's gonna do that. Okay.
Yeah,
What's going on,
got
bro?
to keep the show
Yeah.
rolling, right?
Oh, most definitely, always. Till the
Yeah,
wheels fall off, man.
they're falling off.
So, how you been doing? You doing good? You doing okay
Hanging
now
in
after
there.
all the?
I'm healthy. That's pretty good for me. That fact that I'm healthy. You know, everything's looking good as far as that goes. Did my blood work, so I'm looking positive. Looks like I should live for a while. So can't gotta be happy with that, I guess. You know.
Definitely, man.
Yeah.
That's good. I mean, so you look at the stuff that's happening in the world. It's like,
Oof. It is.
it's
We are in
almost
a
like, uh,
revolution going on right now. It's getting scary. It's getting scary, and they just started laying off tons of people in the tech industry. So I'm sure you keep up to date on that. It's like it's changing overnight.
it's almost weird. It's almost like let's say you're an electrician for your whole life, and then all of a sudden this thing comes in you're not familiar with, but you know that you're I guess forced to learn it because that's the new thing, but
Hmm.
it just doesn't seem natural. That's what I feel the AI thing. It's like it got shoved in to the tech thing, but when I look at it, I'm like, this doesn't look like a normal thing that we progress to. I mean, it's been talked about. That's the funny part. They always talk about in the movies, whatever, and then it becomes reality. That's the hilarious part. It's like, who knew about this before this came out? Oh, the movies and stuff. And it's like, it just blows my mind.
Well, look at the 20th century from 1900 to the year 2000 and how different the world became. So we can't expect any less of this century, you know? We're basically at 1920. Look at things at 1926 and look where they ended up in 2000. So we're going to follow the same trajectory, and it's where it's going to lead. I have no idea, but obviously it's going to be a whole different world.
Well, basically, humanity's taking a back seat at this point. So
Yeah,
it's like,
they these bastards changed it to where even with the $45 plan now, you can only have one seat. You have to have the $90 plan a month to have two seats. And if you want additional seats, you got to pay for them. It used to be two seats for the core, the middle plan, and then it used to be two seats for the free plan too. And then it would just go over to the middle one, and then you could get three seats. It came with the top plan. Now, I guess, yeah, this is messed up, man. It's just getting to where,
it's inevitable. I mean, the bigger the thing gets with the streaming, which has exploded like in the last 5 years,
yeah,
I
yeah, they got
I
big.
can see why they're the
Yeah,
thing is they're
it's
the only
really
ones
messed.
that actually have servers. No one else has servers, right? Zoom doesn't have servers.
Yeah,
Discord doesn't have servers like that. So they're
yeah,
the only ones that are actually going out there and getting it. So they do have to pay for that. Even if you're free, they have to pay for that,
yeah,
hoping you're going to
yeah,
pay.
yeah.
So
Because
it's
they
a
give. I mean, I'll see what happens, man. If I start making money on the stream, I'll see if I can do it. But yeah, that's messed up. The fact that even on the $45 plan, you can't have two seats. That's messed up. It's like yeah, you know, yeah. What are you gonna say? Just I should have just kept what I had for the next 3 months, but yeah, things are getting a little tight, and just and it takes a month. The only way to really do it is if somebody gives on Cash App or PayPal, because the YouTube thing takes a month for it to come through. So like the end of next month, that's when they would pay, and even then, by then the bills, all the monthly bills come in again. It's just ridiculous, and you got these guys building a freaking ballroom. I mean,
Yeah.
all the stuff that they did was it's just sad, man. Yeah, man, it's just straight. It's crazy. It's crazy, man. With that whole fake, in my opinion, it's just a total fakeness thing, and people are. I said it when the first thing happened. If anybody thought the first attempt was real, I mean, they're zombified. It just, I mean, look at 9/11. People still believe that. When I went on that stream Confluence, those guys were like in their 20s saying, well, uh, it's a good thing they got the Patriot Act. So 9/11. And I was like, what? And I think after I left, like maybe one or two guys that came on, they were like, yeah, they didn't agree with it. So you got a few guys that are still thinking, that are in their 20s, but not many. Not, I
Hmm.
mean, you don't have many people thinking in their 30s and 40s either, or their 50s. We're living in an age of like unparalleled stupidity and ignorance. It just, I mean, you got Archie
well.
Bunker.
Here's where I've ended up with that. It's like from what I've been told and know, which is very little, versus what I've been told, which is the majority through books, whatever it is, media, movies, whatever. It's not. I can never get to that one side. So I basically say, okay, if I think this is true, let's say this example of something, whatever it is, then if that's true, then that means somewhere over here that I'm not studying right now, this should be also be true. And then I go and I look into something I usually don't look at, but it fits the criteria of my thesis or my theory, and then I end up finding the same thing. Just like when you found those same things in artifacts, right? In different parts of the world, you found stuff in Colombia, you found stuff in Egypt, you found like, wait, these things coincide. There's the similar, material they're using, special type of laser, whatever, 3D printer, precision. You're noticing all these, compatible things that are like, there's no way that these guys would know this unless they had internet or something, from across
Or unless they saw the same thing traveling worldwide. So, like, remember what I said about the Thunderbird, and you thought, no, it's a real bird. And I'm like, how else would they describe it? So that means North Americans saw flying vehicles that they call the Thunderbird. Colombia has the pictures, all the casted gold planes. I took pictures of those in the museum. They have them on Ancient Aliens. People.
I think we're colliding two things. Like the Romans said, oh, the flying shield. So each group has their own interpretation of what that is. So it could be that there is a real thing, but at the same time, there's also interpretation, and we're colliding the two, and we're kind of.
Well, there's also different types. You got flying vehicles with wings. You got flying vehicles without wings, because the Vimanas are close to the flying shields, circular. UFO, maybe Bell type. Same thing with the Hitler type. And Hitler went to India to probably get that hidden knowledge. They knew. I mean, they knew something. I mean, whatever it is that birthed the most recent people that are basically have the least amount of melanin, and that's a theory that a lot of people don't want to look into. I'm like, look, when people bleach their skin, this Fair and Lovely thing in Jamaica, it removes the melanin, showing that underneath is the non-melanated original template. And for some reason, the
you know what kind of hit just hit me? I think the melanin side of it is like the rebel side or something, because
people don't want to hear that because they're ignorant. Ignorance and stupidity are the biggest problem. Mental illness.
You can say it is a fact that white people are more subservient than people of color. You could say
no, some white people, not all. You see what I'm saying? So
no,
look at the white people that marched with black people.
Actually, I'm sorry. I got to interrupt. Alex June actually just appreciate the super chat. I don't know if you saw it.
Oh, thank you, brother. Alexis, thank you for the support, bro. He says, did you see Twitter on the day of the Trump shooting? Zombies everywhere were saying Trump is taking a bullet for the oh my goodness. Why do people
another bullet, right? Yeah.
Man, it is so. When he got the first fake attempt, people were wearing tampons on the air, remember? Trying to like act like it's solidarity, putting a patch on the air. And now, Jamal Green sent me something on email, and he said that this one guy was saying, oh, he'll take a bullet for Trump, and he's like, these people are zombified. Yeah, man, they worship. You know what it is, man? It's like it's what Bonhoeffer said about stupidity being more collective. And thank you, brother Alexis. So why do people worship? It's a collective ignorance. And when you get isolation, you won't worship like that. You'll get into spirituality. You'll get into understanding, look, there's definitely something next. You'll start
and that's what I kind of went into, right? The perfect segue, what you just said there, right there. It's like looking at this stuff since early 2000s, since 9/11, all these things build up to the point where you can kind of this force that we're talking about that is untouchable, whatever, apparently, allegedly, has a pattern. So if you kind of look at the pattern, it's done over many years, and you live long enough to study that pattern and see, you can kind of predict things. And that's when I was like, look, this guy Trump's going to get back in here, and then he has to rise up. Like something crazy is going to happen for him to retake that throne. And of course, they used the thing with the shooting, and
he had a lawsuit. Right. And if people isolate and get into their own spirituality, you start to question.
It started from the lawsuit stuff, and he got bigger. I mean,
it was perfectly timed. This guy that I know, he brought something up about this guy Matt. He was saying that that Trump, they were trying to build the ballroom, and it could only be done like with something of security. So it's like the first time he attends this, he never attended the White House Correspondents' Dinner. This happens, and now they're going to pass the thing where he can build a ballroom because of the national security clause they had. And it's so criminal. I mean, I don't find it amazing because I already know they were criminal. Yeah, they have drones that look like birds now that latch onto trees, ones that look like bats. They even found mosquitoes with tags on them,
Yeah.
robotic mosquitoes. Yeah, they bleach themselves and tattoo themselves. Yeah, very odd, man. Very odd. Yeah, it just
But you
it.
know something, MD?
Mhm.
We shouldn't come down too hard on Trump. Let me explain why. He's just the face. We got to realize there's a big network working here,
Oh
and
yeah,
Trump is
yeah.
just kind of just giving it out in the open for us the way he's
Yeah,
behaving.
no, there's something behind the scene. He's basically like an Archie Bunker type cat. When you
Yes.
look at him, they
Yeah.
were comparing him to like that frog that I forgot what they call it.
Well,
Like
here's the thing. It's like they want you to focus all your energy on this guy. Again, this is classic misdirection. This is what geniuses of illusion
well,
do.
look at the people
Geniuses
around him.
of deception will get you to look at this guy. Meanwhile, the other hand is over here doing the thing, and you think this guy's the one doing it.
But no,
I
no,
guarantee
no.
you,
When you look
you've
at
seen
him,
this guy in WCW wrestling. You've
well,
seen this
yeah.
guy in The Apprentice. You've seen that's what he does. That's what
But,
he is. You
but
think
when
this
you look
guy's
at
actually
him,
thinking, oh, I gotta go to war? No,
Nope.
those things were done for him. He just had to sit there and play his part and pretend to be shot at, whatever, and do
yeah,
whatever he
no,
has to
it's
do.
definitely
He's not
something behind him.
orchestrating. Yeah.
It's something behind him, but it shows you that, okay, this is how subservient the population is, that they'll have a buffoon like this, but look at the people around him. I mean, the first so-called first lady is a hooker. I don't even know if that's a woman. And then you got this buffoon as the president. Look at the Secretary of Defense, Pete Hesget. Just, I mean, a total turd. You look at Musk, a Nazi. They're all basically this. That this really goes into not losing. Like the Nazis didn't lose World War II, man. It really did. Um,
Yeah, go ahead.
it is purpose that created us, purpose that connects us, purpose that pulls us, that guides us, that drives us. And if we can turn that purpose into worship, we have complete control. Wow, Agent Smith. Wow, man. That's deep, man. Agent Smith is the deepest character in the Matrix, bro. It's like Morpheus and Neo and Trinity and all of them. Whack. Compare Agent Smith is dropping the knowledge, man. Thank you, Alexis. This is so true. It's so true because the purpose, when you look at like how Alexis is saying, if you think and you get away from the masses of religion, and religion comes in many forms. Mr. X and I see that with evolution being a religion.
Yeah.
You have other things that can fall into that category of belief. But when you get away from that, you start to say, okay, what is my purpose here? What is it? Just to observe? Am I one of the watchers? Because as you start to question your existence, now you're not even saying, okay, I'm worried about, or maybe just thinking about where I'm going next. I'm saying, where am I now? This right here, this existence is extremely odd.
And I can tell you that through the age, just age alone narrows your like wondrous imagination. Like when I was telling you the mind's eye, like when I was a kid, the mind's eye, certain things happen, a few things happened that I saw my mind's eye. It seemed ridiculous at the time, but it just did it and it happened. Like my dad taking me fishing, he broke the lure. It flew like 100 yards away. He's like, "Don't worry, son, I'll buy you another one." And I'm like, "No, that's my favorite lure. I'm gonna get that back. I'm gonna use a hook to hook that thing in." And my dad, "There's no way you're gonna do that." And then magically somehow I hit it after like 10 tries, and he was like, "Okay." And then when I was playing soccer, I was like, "I'm gonna hit this thing," and it just happens, whatever. So these things, like when you're in that wondrous state and you're not, you haven't gone through trauma to shield you.
I think they
Once
call
you're
it
shielded, once you're shielded like that, it's very difficult to pull that energy in to create the mind's eye. Like you literally have control in this
some
world.
religious people might say on a quote like something about when you come back to like you were when you were a child, then you'll start to see the truth. When you keep that childlike, when you keep the dreams you had of yesterday, you never grow old. I think Bad Company had a song like that. If I could remember the golden dreams I had in my younger days, something like that. And that's where, like, there's a book, it's something, what was it? Something about the dreams of Saharsky or something like that. But it was talking about how I think I had it in my history, but it let me see if I can find it because I was
So
looking
let
it
me
up.
get, no, 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 let me get this out real quick. I'll forget about it. I'm saying basically what I'm realizing is when I don't have these built-in vices or built-in pre notions of things that have traumatized me through life or whatever it is, that have built this armor around me. But then I realize the armor prevents me from using my mind's eye to actually manipulate this world and and manifest stuff that would be considered impossible based on science, which is based on time, more of like people that are older. Like it's not gonna science wouldn't relate as well to a child because they're still almost in that magical weird energy state that they're able to do stuff. 'Cause I remember it was like there was no way. The idea is insane to even think about doing that, but as a kid, I was a dumb kid. But the kid got it. So what is that about? So
I think
somehow
flow
he could have.
state.
I could have thrown 1,000 times and not gotten it easily. My dad was trying to. At the same time we're
Well, it's
trying.
throwing it and
He was
feeling.
trying to convince me like, no, it's not going to happen.
Well,
It's
it's
one in a million
feeling.
shot.
There's a way to do things with a feeling. They call it the flow state. Like when you throw, say, a dart at a dart board, and you feel you can think something, and you can maybe possibly change the trajectory of it when it's flying with your mind. I mean, these things, they don't want us to know about these things because now when a thought or something is in the air now, maybe
Okay, explain
now.
this. Explain this. When I say you see it in your mind's eye, you saw it in your mind's eye. You saw the imagery in your mind's eye. When I kicked that soccer ball off the tip of my
Mhm,
toe, that thought came afterwards. I saw in my mind's eye that it happened. I
mhm.
saw the ball go straight and then snapped the second they said go. My mind's like, okay, to do this, I have to at least hit off my toe really hard, so it goes straight and low, and it just goes right in. So, but when it happened, it was exactly the same mind's eye vision, is what I'm saying. So there's like a snap, there's like a real quick thing, but when the manifestation happens, and then you're put into that frame of mind, and then you have to quickly do something to make that happen, and it just happens.
It's yeah. I mean, I hear what you're saying.
But
Uh,
as you get older, you build these walls around you because of what you've experienced, and then you no longer have these powers because now your mind is
yeah,
not as open, right?
Alexis is right. Yeah, no, you're right. It just the flow state, man. Yeah, come as a child, man. Yeah, the flow state, effortless excellence, and it's real. It's real, man. Um, it just really it has that thing.
But
I
this
mean,
is why people keep saying, "I wish I was back in high school" and all that. It's like, okay, if you were in high school with this mind you have right now, you would
the,
not be the
the,
same as you were then, right?
Of course not.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, Alexis, brother, thank you for the support. He says there's a viral Twitter post of a pastor saying Trump is modern day Jesus sent by God. Holy smokes. And admits he and his church pray to Trump every morning. This is insane.
That's gonna be
This,
a new religion soon. Yeah,
yeah,
Trump.
I heard he's selling Bibles for $60. They got a channel called The Good Liars where these Democrats interview all the Trump nuts, and the stuff they say is gone. Like he was telling this girl, it was a black guy, and his girl looked like she was like mixed Spanish or something. She was so zombie, saying that God sent Trump, and and the guy goes, well, he's selling Bibles for $60, and don't you think that's a little odd? Like you think that's God wants him to do that, and she defended that man to the end. I can't believe praying to Trump every. That's he's got people giving because that power of prayer is transferring energy. This is crazy, man.
It's not
See,
gonna
he's the
surprise me if
perfect
he builds.
candidate for the nutcase they need for this.
I won't be surprised. Pretty soon he builds a huge statue of himself.
He
So I
probably will. They wanted to put his face on Mount Rushmore. This is crazy.
think it's coming, man.
It,
He
it's
wants to put
this,
that. He wants to put that on the money.
this is just nuts, man. Alexis, thank you, brother. This I can't believe that yeah, modern
And
and I've
again,
heard
we're focusing.
they had other
Again, I
pastors
haven't.
speak against him too. But yeah, I didn't know about
Since like I said to you, MD, since I stopped even researching this stuff because I've realized it's like no one really, it just keeps cycling through. It's like people, we know about it, but then the majority of people you even talk about this that you used to know and you talked about this. Now all of a sudden they're voting for Trump and they're just back in the whole zombie game. You're like, how did that even happen? If this person was aware at the time I spoke to them, but all of a sudden they're sleeping again, you just realize, look, there's so few of us that can stay consistent and keep our minds clear of the zombie
I have a
nature of
friend.
these things.
Yeah, and you're right about that because he will talk about the stuff in the sky, and then I'll see total overcast, and I'm like, yeah, this don't look natural. And he'll be like, oh, well, it's kind of natural, and I'm like, you're just a flaming idiot. I'm like, one moment you're over here, totally knowing that okay, they're doing something to the air, and now when you can see it, now it's he falls back into the thing, and it's scary. It's invasion of the body snatchers type of stuff.
Well, let's say you grew up with this guy, kind of. You knew him, when he's in his 20s or whatever, and 9/11 happened or whatever, and you guys literally researched the whole thing together, and you uncovered that. You went through the whole thing from Alex Jones to David
The
Icke.
day I didn't even need Alex. The day it happened.
Well, just assume he knew all the way up to the reptilian thing, all that crazy stuff, and then all of a sudden you see him 5 years later, you don't talk to him, and all of a sudden he's voting for Trump and all this, and like magically none of
I've
that
seen
stuff.
guys like that. I've seen guys that we knew in the
like
90s.
that. Yeah.
But
Yeah,
you know what
and
they seem to be setting up though with Trump? Honestly, it's becoming a love or hate, no in between.
yeah.
Either you love him, worship him, or you hate him's guts and you want him gone.
And that
There's
Mr.
no
X
in
just hit on something extremely, because it's your balance in the strings between two. Okay, you have a country that supposedly has these two factions that completely hate each other, and they have to balance the scales so that there's no apparently civil war. But it almost seems like this is what they want.
They
It's like
want
we're at the very brink of that, and they want to keep us right there, right real close next to that cliff, just barely close enough to we'll hold it to where we don't. But when they do need it, okay, boom, throw them
Yep.
off. Okay, civil war. So it's
They
just we're walking a tightrope at this point, and it's so ridiculous. And they're juggling everything, and they want us to believe it's all about money. It's not. It's really the power control of inflation that dictates what the money's worth at that time. But we got a big super chat in here. We're gonna bring that up, MD.
Uh-oh.
I don't have
Let me
the
see.
thing, but
Alexis, brother, thank you for the support, bro. He says, are the Trump zombies more dangerous than Biden zombies? A couple of my coworkers are Trump zombies. They're all awakened on chemtrails, 9/11 inside jobs, jab being fake, but saying Trump is different because he went against the jab. Holy smoke. I honestly think,
Wait, let me answer you. But I appreciate the donation, bro. That's a nice donation.
Awesome.
This is kind of what I went back to when I first told you about the thing. This is exactly what I was already thinking, that because Trump did not have a good rap up until that point. Yeah, he was getting hit with all these lawsuits, all this stuff with the Stormy Daniels, blah blah blah.
but he also
And you
wasn't
saw-
against the jab, like he says here. Yeah, he wasn't even against the
Well,
jab.
that was before when he was like
He was
like
pushing
kind of
for it, then he went against it, and now he's pushing for it again. Like it's
okay. So that would prove to me that at the
So-
time he had a conscience and then realized, oh, okay, I can't say that. They told me not to say that. Okay, it goes on, and they're telling me you're gonna be president after Biden is in, and we're gonna do this and that, and whatever. I don't even know how that would even play out, but that's what it is. It's in my mind. It was like they're gonna have to build this guy back up so big. He's gonna have to go through obstacles that are so insane, and it's gonna be a complete clown show. And that's exactly what happened. He beat all the cases. All of a sudden, magically, he does this thing. All of a sudden, the thing with a shot, and we see how ridiculous that was.
He went back and forth on that. He flim-flammed. Like there was just a small when he
but he rose up to that godly thing. Oh, God saved him.
he didn't totally go against it, and that's why I think they put Biden in for those 4 years. And then when he switched back again, he's on video. Oh yeah, take it. It's good. I mean, it's insane. And the Christians, see, this is the thing where one Christian guy on Piers Morgan, he was an American, he called out Andrew Wilson, who's basically a white racist nationalist. He's basically, I call them Klan light members. Remember what I said? Not all white Christians are Klan members, but all Klan members are white Christians. They're posing as white Christians. They're hateful monsters.
But
And
remember,
this is
remember,
exposed with the Trump voters. Like he exposed them. He said, "You guys, especially Andrew Wilson. I mean, no matter how hard you try, you can't polish a turd." And you look at him, the guy that had to marry a woman with 3 kids from 3 different guys. You know he's not a happy guy. You know he's not a happy guy. Nothing against his wife and her kids and her baby daddy, but when he shames women for that, and then he's married to one, you see the face of hypocrisy. And also, he's a racist. And what this white pastor called out on Piers Morgan, he said, "You guys are not Christians." He goes, "You guys," because he goes, "Oh, he wants to see Christian dominance and stuff like that." No, they don't want. They don't want to live life according to the nonviolent. Hey, you know what? Forgive this and that. No, they're hateful monsters. That they're like the Muslim terrorists that don't represent the good Muslim. That's what the Klan is. The Klan is that. The same way Zionists is to Judaism, terrorists Muslims are to other Muslims, and the Klan is to Christians. And that's what all of these, anybody who's a Christian and white that votes for Trump, they're looking at these black people like, hey man, they're just Stephen from Django. Stephen from Django. You look at the bottom line. They never had a problem when he said grab woman by the pee. They never had a problem with all of the racist stuff he said. They look at him as basically the fact that he posted that picture of Jesus and stuff that.
But here's the issue.
It's
Okay,
sickening.
let's say we're both the same race, what do they want to call a race. Let's say we're 2 white dudes talking, whatever.
Alexis says subscribe. I don't even think it's a conscience. He was just told by his superiors to be against the jab, so zombies will find him different and be zombified. Yeah.
Okay, so that I was going to say that earlier, but as you were going, I actually forgot about it. But remember when Joe Rogan that happened? He flipped when he talked about the moon mission, whatever. We remember.
Joe was the plan. Joe just took a picture. He was in the White House cabinet, standing behind Trump.
Okay, so now you see it with Trump with the thing. You saw that, so it's the same flip. It's almost like they're normal at one point. All of a sudden,
not even zombies, they're mummies.
Once you see them flip, you never see them the same again, right? Once you see them flip like that.
Well, once I see, remember when I see other people, they wake up for certain things. I knew this as a kid, and all my life, people try to. Look, just the fact that if somebody wants to smoke a joint and they were arresting people for growing a plant and stuff like that, and now marijuana is legal in New York City. It's just, you look at that and you say to yourself, it's like these people are so monstrous criminal. Cocaine was legal in the late 1800s. Sigmund Freud was basically a cokehead that got his clients strung out on coke. And how did they make it illegal? Oh, they said black guys would want to sleep with white women. Same thing with jazz. Same thing with the weed with Mexicans. It's always some shit of, oh, they want white women, when white women really want some seasoning. That's what they want. And that white lady that just said recently, she was like, these type of white males, not all, but these type of white males would rather see white women dead than see them with somebody that's non-white. That's Andrew Wilson. That's the whatever podcast. That's all of these guys that you see out there. Just total insecure pieces of crap. And that's what
if you look at them, you see that they're not top tier. Look at Andrew, all of them. Andrew Wilson.
You never see the white guys that can get women complaining about that because
Andrew Tate, first of all, is bald.
You look at them; they're all. It's an insecurity thing. Yeah, and the White House is totally closet. Yeah, the White House is full-blown closet. Make God, thank you for the support. He says, was 2016 Trump not compromised compared to 2026? No, he was always compromised. There are videos about him being a piece of crap where he was at casinos. Old casino owners were saying that he didn't pay certain people. He would make deals with them and say, oh, I don't like the way you did that. We're not even giving you half the money we're supposed to give you. And there's rumors that he had ties with them.
But you see, that's low level stuff.
No,
It's like
he was always a
it
piece of
means
crap. No, Trump was always a piece of
it
crap.
was a piece of crap.
It
But
definitely wasn't the 16. Yeah, he was always a
but
piece
it
of
did
crap.
show. It did show that he had a conscience to say, "Hey, what? Why are you trying
Yeah,
to,
and thank you for the
force
support,
me to-"
bro.
I'm saying at least he had a conscience to say, "Why are you trying to make me do that?" And he was like kind of side. What do you
He
call it? He
was
was
always a
sideswiped.
piece of crap, man. No matter how hard you
Of course,
try, you
whatever.
cannot
Again,
polish it.
again,
Look at Joe Rogan. Like
they
Brian
look.
Nichols, okay, I hear what you're saying,
He
but Joe
fits.
Rogan, he did bring out some stuff in the beginning. Like Joe Rogan, I would even say he was a plant from the beginning. But what they do is they'll
No, but
reel you in.
you can see when they flip though.
Well, it's not even flip. We think that they flip. It's like, no, you were a rat all along. You know, even when he was saying, no, they didn't go, to the thing and all of that. And then he flipped. It was like, no, you had that in you. You couldn't do it if you didn't have it in you. If you were a real revolutionary, you would be that way. You will die with your belief on that.
They're not. You
What
think
you
Joe Rogan's
stand
gonna
for,
do
not even a belief. A person will die for that. And we've seen. Nobody wants to go and do life or something like that. We saw the Black Panthers ratting
But
each other.
honestly, let's say if someone came to you and said, "Look, we don't, we like what you're saying, but this thing over here you're saying we don't like that.
They can go screw themselves.
We'll give you $100 million
They
contract
can
on
go
Spotify.
screw themselves. I can't spend $100 million in my lifetime.
$100 million
I
on
can't
Spotify.
spend that much money, so they can go to hell, man. I don't care. You know what I realize as I get older? All you really have is your dignity, man. If you lose that, it's over. You have to keep your integrity. You have to be true. Above all else, be true to yourself, man. If you lie to a friend, you lose the friend. But if you lie to yourself, you lose yourself. And that was like this book that I'm saying, The Dream Life of Sukhanov. This lady, Olga Grushkin, was writing it about a guy, a Russian a talent. He was an artist, Anatoly Sukhanov. And he betrayed himself to go with the Soviet party and actually censor art. And that thing, when you suppress that part of yourself, as Gorbachev made the laws to like make it more like to where, okay, you can say more stuff, which they try to say, oh, it's the fall of the Soviet Union. No, it was the emergence of truth. See how they use the words to change it? Oh, the fall of the Soviet Union. No, that wasn't the fall of the Soviet Union. That was truth growing out of that crap, like the way a dandelion can crack through concrete. And they don't never want you to see that. They'll call it the fall of the Soviet Union before they tell you, no, that's the power of truth. The power of truth cannot be held down. Over time, it will prevail always. MGTOW God, brother, thank you for the support, man. He says, 2016, Trump was spreading truth, saying the Iraq war was BS, how our borders were wide open, allowing millions of illegal to come in. He was good. Now, one thing for sure, if you look this up, you'll find it, and I appreciate the support, bro, is that more people were coming in through Canada. So I'm not saying Canadians, but more people that were illegal were coming in through Canada. Now, he played the part. It's like how Joe Rogan, I said, okay, Scribe was saying he flipped, and it's like, nah, he was always that way. What does a snake become when it sheds its skin? A bigger snake. It doesn't change. So I hear what you're saying, and
it's technically true that he is that way. Therefore, he accepted the flip.
No, we get it. Just, well, it's not even accepted the flip. It's like you can't. If somebody asks you to do some pedo shit, or would you ever fucking do it, man? And excuse me for cursing. You would never do it, and that's the defining thing of what I'm trying to say.
Well, that's why we have this.
That's the moralistic value. If you have it, you have it. Nothing is going to make you change. If you happen to do that, you was always a goddamn PDF file. That's the way I see it, man. Because you will die with saying, "Nah, man, I'd rather die before I do something like that." That's the real thing, and he said, looking a bit zombie. Oh shit. Andre 3000. Yeah, and
that's
I appreciate the support from him, because remember, MAGA Mike was also pro-Trump, and he said this stream woke him up. He said, man, he came back, he said he's done because a couple of his buddies, I think, got ended in Iran recently. So he saw the truth. It took the death of his friends, but he's still MAGA. He's still Make America for, because that's, you know what it is? It's sad because people actually had a belief in this country. See, when you grow up in this country and you believe in it, the fall can kill you. You'll crack. You won't be able to take reality. You have to get it a little at a time. It's like you being asleep and they blast the lights on. You can't open your eyes up right away. Your eyes will start to tear. You got to squint and you got to slowly adjust to the light. And this is where I understand the process that they're going through.
And
See,
if you know this, then that means you're ready for war. You're put here. That the reason you're here right now is
born into this war. It's not even being ready for war.
Exactly. The reason you're here right now is for this war.
We think we're not at war. They've been at war with us since we can remember.
Okay, can we agree that that's why we're put here right now?
Is war against children. You see how deep this stuff goes? A candy store is a war against children. I used to love candy. I used to look at that. Oh my goodness. I look at it now. A candy store is a drug dealer. That's horrible, to give a kid a clump of sugar. And you look at this stuff. That's a war. That's an act of war right there. And natives saw this for what it is. Tribal people see it for what it is. They say, look, if somebody cuts your mother's face and stitched it back up, you'd be at war with them. This earth is our mother. When they cut it and they stitched it up with railroad tracks, that's an act of war. When you pollute the water, that's an act of war. When you mess with the natural order of stuff, genetically modifying, that's an act of war. And people don't see it.
Okay, so who brought this artificial fear-mongering?
I would say part of it is the architects of humanity. You know,
no, because before it was harmonious.
It wasn't really harmonious. It was like, okay, when people say, well, the natives were killing each other, well, not all of them.
No, harmonious as long as they know the land, they know the animals, they respected the animals.
Well, even then, when you look at knowing the animals and knowing the land, when you look at stuff that's
morals were different than they are now, because now it's all high tech. Now
well, the thing is, if you look at this, if you look at the landscape, the minefield called nature, there's stuff out there like parasites and all this stuff. You see that we're really, even in a tribal state living with Earth, you're basically just avoiding the minefield called nature. We have like the signature
because you
of being
fear
a domesticated animal.
Do not fear it. No, you are fearing that which you
No,
don't know.
I'm not fearing it.
I know stuff that we don't know.
I know that we come from the laboratory. To think that, what do you think? These native people just popped up out of the ground or came from apes or something? How do you think they got there?
I'm saying that there's an obvious fracture between indigenous people and going to the moon, right? Going from indigenous tribes who still live the same way they have for thousands of years, and now we're going to the moon.
These people are just hanging on. Now, they might be living, doing their TP thing. They might be Aztec. They might be African tribes.
Why would they refuse getting help from us financially? There's many tribes here in Panama, for example, who,
because they know, you know why? Because they're smart enough. They're smart enough to know that when you screw over your own people, you're going to eventually screw them over. And this is where I see with a lot of the white Americans that say, oh, well, the government. No. When you saw what they did to the native people, remember, it's coming to a theater near you. That's called karma. That's called karma. And you know what? You know what? I'd rather sink on this ship and smile with them as we're drowning than see this thing survive like that. Because
that's what I'm saying. It's an artificial fracture in reality. Why would this thing come in? Because the Avatar movie is so spot on. I mean, it literally tells you.
Avatar, you're getting it from the mind of a white guy who never had to worry about his next meal, who says, oh, look, colonization is a good thing. We're going to teach these people.
How is that a good thing?
And guess who the stage is going to be? Of those native people, it's going to be a white guy that's going to be put into an avatar like them. What does that subliminally tell you? That these people can't save themselves? It doesn't, it takes away the monster that's coming to attack them. No, look, this guy's good. He's gonna act like one of you and then fight for you. Don't worry, we're still gonna win and we're gonna rape your land and everything. We're still gonna do that. right?
Who
Michael
gave these
Bay,
people?
James Cameron, they're all full of shit, man. These guys
Look,
don't even know how to tell a good
there's one thing
story.
to wonder about that, but to actually do it is a completely different thing. Where do they
Thieving,
get this?
lying
Where do
scum.
they get this ambition to rule the world?
Ambition for what?
Where did this movement or these people that came in after have the ambition to rule the world? Where did that come from?
It's not the ambition to. One was manifest destiny. So either the architects of humanity or some intermediary gas them up, put fuel in their tank. You're better than everybody else, and it is your destiny to take it over. Now, if you read this is why I was telling you, you need to really brush up on just the history you can find, much less the stuff that they try to hide.
Okay, let me ask you a question then. That's different, arbitrary, whatever. Is it or is it not true that there is some kind of presence, whether it's corporate, whatever it is, priesthood, that is trying to bring a new world order?
Well, it already is a new world order.
No. Okay, so yes, right? You're saying yes.
Yeah, there's definitely.
Okay, so
It's not even
see this
new
right.
world order, right? Look at the way they switch these words. They try to use the word order, right? There's no order. This is a planetary invasion. That's what it's called. No, let's call it a new world order. No,
Yeah,
that's a
that's what it means.
planetary invasion. That's what it's.
Yeah,
That's
it
what.
means
If
we're
somebody said, "Could
taking you out.
define a new world order?" What does that mean? Well, it means a planetary.
That means we're
invasion.
coming in, taking you out, and reordering the whole thing.
No, there ain't no order about it. You see how they put in the word order in there? Disney K, thank you for the support. I appreciate it. Thank you. Alexis June, thank you for the support, bro. Is Fuentes a chameleon or really with his movie? He's a closet chameleon. He is so closet chameleon. It's really sad, man. I told you, like, this guy reminds me of Oscar the Grouch from Sesame Street, the dude in the garbage can. That's Nick Fuentes. You look at him and you look at Oscar the Grouch from Sesame Street, same character. He's right in the trash. And you hear what was he, like, a 28-year-old virgin, right? Now, I'm not hating on anybody like that, but the thing is, somebody who's 28 years old and a virgin is going to have a lot of animosity, a lot of hatred within them, possibly toward women. Now, when he sees a hot white chick with a black dude, that's going to fuel his insecurity, his self-hatred, and that's what pushes him into being the racist that he is today. Same thing with Tate brother, Myron Gaines, Frog, Closet Vicula, and who's the other guy? Sneeko. And then they had that other guy there with the beady eyes and stuff that hang out with them with the tight suits. That's a circus closet. I mean, these guys are like clowns. And what do they do? All they do is hate on women, and it's just like that white lady said. They would rather see them dead than see them with a person that's non-white. All of them preach that. They don't sell dating and stuff like that. They're trying to pull guys into the closet with them. These guys are like closet vampires, man. They prey on men. They prey on, like, I think ITV had said it. They prey on the insecurity of men. They prey on the misery of men. That's what he said. And that's what they do.
It is interesting. The thing is, I look at it the other way. It's like, okay, you're in it. You are in it. Like, you are going after everybody. You're the master at that, legend of that.
All of them, man.
I'm looking at it like from further away. It's like, why is this going on? And then I'm looking at it.
I'm not even sure if anybody.
I'm saying why is this going on, and what comes to mind is dehumanization to the point where people have to ask how to go outside and play, how to talk to a girl, how to do these normal things that should be, already pre-installed knowledge, but yet we're de-evolving somehow mentally and going. I guess the tech,
it's not even evolving.
Look at that. Just look at that right there, and that explains all the idiocy that we're talking about.
When we talked on the last stream about Dr. Jose Delgado and the wireless radio frequencies that can induce apathy, they can induce aggression. So when you see the fact that they've been doing experiments like this in the open since the 60s and 70s, then that means they were doing them in the 20s.
Pure Truman Show. Pure Truman Show.
I don't
Even way
even know
before that.
if we, yeah, it's so old. Look at the movie Metropolis, a silent movie that makes a robotic woman, basically a sex doll, that gives birth to workers. Metropolis is a movie that people need to check out. I think they have it on YouTube. Even I think it's in Technicolor now, but it was a black and white silent film from like 1923 or 1927 or something like that. And I think about it, and it's amazing. Alexis June, thank you, brother, for the support. He says, "What is Tate? He speaks some truth and exposes how our world is the matrix, but he grifts his audience with his coaching and dating courses. Yet Tate is a snake that shed its skin to become a bigger snake." I don't know if the interview is still on YouTube with Tate talking to another guy of how he ripped people off, and the guy was like, "So you don't have any remorse?" He's like, "No." He said he had guys taking loans out. He would unplug the keyboard and have the chick sitting there as if she was typing, and he'd be typing, and they would be extracting money from the misery of these men. And when, like, some guys were going to marry these girls, and when it was time for the girl to meet them, she'd disappear. I mean, horrible, horrible stuff. So he's just like Joe Rogan and these other guys, like what I was saying, where they didn't turn. They were always a piece of crap. It's like the scorpion and the frog, where the scorpion is trying to cross the river, and the frog's like, "Look, I'll take you across, but you can't sting me." He's like, "All right." He gets on the back of the frog, and they're swimming across the lake. And right in the middle of the lake, he stings the frog. And the frog's like, "What you doing? Now we both gonna drown." And he's like, "Hey, that's my nature. I'm a scorpion." So it's not that the scorpion was being good at saying, "Hey, you know what? All right." He was always poison. That's what Tate is. Tate is always poison. When you see, you can't trust them. It's like trusting a politician and then saying, and thank you for the support, brother. It's like trusting one of these politicians. Look at how people trusted Trump, right? And this is called rationalization. When people rationalize and say, "Well, that person was, I think they were good." It's like, well,
they're playing essentially they're playing a character.
All these things do something if it wasn't in your heart already. It's like the best example that I can give you is the pedal thing. So if you look at that example of the pedal thing, when somebody I guarantee you, when Tate came out and he talked about the Megan Fox thing, if Megan Fox was a trans and he would rather sleep with her, he was showing you the true colors. I guarantee you that dude is probably PDF file too. Same thing with Fuentes. Didn't Fuentes come out and start saying 14 isn't young and all? Straight pedo. Straight making excuses for the Epsteins. He said this on camera. These dude, the true colors shining through. That song is So Real by Cyndi Lauper. I think it's an older song, but she's like, "Don't be afraid to let your true colors shine through." But she said it in a good way.
When you put your energy into that, it's like that should be somewhat obvious, but it's like, where's the real energy should be put towards as far as understanding what's going on? Because we're dealing with forces that are beyond human.
If you ain't upset, if you ain't outraged, you don't know what's going on.
We have so much energy to be outraged on a certain topic. There's billions of topics. So if you're putting that much energy in that topic,
if you understand that, like how you saying, "Oh, well, they're declaring war or something," like, it's always been a declaration of war. If you just look at the stuff we grew up with and you look back at it and you start to say, "Wow, this is like some monstrous thing." And other people were telling, the people who had it worse than any of us, they were telling us when we were younger. Just to see the amount of people homeless in the country is telling you without telling you. Now somebody told me they're making that a crime, basically. People can't stay in their vehicles. It's as if they want to torture people when they're having ballroom dinners. That's where I'm like, Machiavelli's right. Eat the rich. Stalin's right. It's a cycle.
Okay, so what about the
Fuck out
real
the
you?
gate.
The real you
You
chose
got to
this
go
harder
straight
level.
frailty. That movie Frailty,
Listen,
straight
I
frailty.
understand,
Bust
but
out
listen,
Otis.
what if the
Otis
real
the app.
you and what if the real you in the higher realm or whatever? Let's just assume that there's a
What
higher
if
realm
there's
that's the real
not a?
you.
What if this is the
What if
real?
you chose to learn something? It's like I'm gonna pick the harder one.
No,
I'm
ain't
gonna pick the
nobody
harder
picking
one that's
shit.
at war and
Everybody
I'm
says,
born
"Oh,
into
well,
this.
I chose to come here." I don't know, man. I mean, again, it's going away.
That's
Alexis
what I'm
brother,
saying. And there you
it's
think,
going
yeah, I
to
want
an
to do that. But when you're
ethereal
here, you're like,
realm.
no, this is different.
We don't even know where this is. We don't even know who or what we
That's what I'm
are.
saying. Once you come here, you realize it's worse than what you
We
ever
don't
could
know if we
imagine.
came here. Where do we come from? My friend was telling me that today. Like, oh, we come from here. I didn't even want to tell him, man. Like,
It
look,
came from
man,
consent.
we don't know that. You making this shit
You
up.
have
You
to agree.
want to
You have to
believe
agree
that?
on something.
How could that actually be true? Tell me. That's a belief, and it's okay. That's your belief. But if you want to believe that, fine. When you try to
Because
tell me
this
that that's the
clown
truth,
show is too
that's where the
ridiculous to
line in the sand gets
take it
drawn.
seriously.
Well,
No, take
hey,
it seriously.
keep believing that, and that's okay. Alexis, brother, thank you for the support, bro. He says, Dan Blazarian, he's running for Congress too. Shake the tree and destroy the IRS. He's sus and he hangs out with these guys, but maybe he could change. I would, and this is the thing where we want something better. We would hope it's something. I forgot what the name of it is. It's like it keeps us passive from busting out the guillotine. Because Dan Blazarian is one of them too. I would clearly say if he's running for you can't vote your way out of tyranny. You just can't. And that's a harsh thing for me to say because it's telling people what? It's telling people you either die the hero or you live long enough to see yourself become the villain. And I used to say, well, wait a second. If I live to where I'm 60, 70, or 80 or something like that, how am I the villain? I didn't hurt anybody. No, your
See, that's
silence
why
is consent.
Tupac did the thing he did.
Your
He died, a
Tupac
hero.
is another piece of crap. You worshiping this dude, man. The hell is wrong with you?
No,
Worship
but
in
the
the
thing you
closet.
said, he died a hero before
No
he turned the villain.
politician is going to help us. Mr. Super Sidewinder said it best. No Tupac, no rapper, nobody's, and yeah, Dan Blazarian, I think personally, yeah, maybe he could change. But again, it's like, you know what they say, your true colors shining through. It's like, what does a snake become when it sheds its skin? A bigger snake. And I think part of it, and it's a hard one, we don't who really wants to go on it just on that total revolution. It's hard because you ain't going to be warm, you ain't going to be comfortable, and you ain't going to probably live long, but hey, we all going to die. I was born to die. Alexis says, you're right. I forgot. Voting doesn't exist. They select, not elect. If Dan gets in, he's compromised. Exactly, bro. Exactly. When guys bring up Ron Paul and all these guys, and I'm like, wow, they look into the sky waiting for daddy to come home and save them. There ain't nobody going to save them. Nobody's coming to save it. The only person that can save you is you. Is you. And you either die the hero or you live long enough to see yourself become the villain. And as we start to see this, you get that feeling like, man, honestly, if you think about it, you really think somebody's going to come and save you? You think somebody's going to get into office and do the right thing and people are going to listen to him? Look at the monster surrounded by monsters that's in there that, in my opinion, just did another fake assassination attempt. Other guys are looking at that, the way he ran through and all, and I'm saying to myself, I can't believe this. I literally, I'm surprised people haven't just went like total, like straight revolutionary. I'm very surprised. But again, they got the drones. We built them to this powerful thing. They extracted that from us.
I'll give you an example of someone who did that recently through his
they're never going to tell you. All right, remember I said, what if somebody is out there offing these dudes? You think they're going to broadcast that on the news? They don't even like to broadcast people that get away from the cops. You might see it once in a blue, but you won't really see it. Like very, very. You might see them get away, but then eventually you get caught because they always want to break your spirit. Look, nobody gets away. That's why they got movies like Cops just hunting people down. Uh, Look at the prison television schedule. You got Cops, then you got the guys going to jail, then you got the judge shows, then you got the 48 hour shows. It's all about guys getting caught and going through the process. Law and Order. It's anything but Law and Order. You wonder, why do they have these shows? Palantir, that's another one. That's Palantir is so surveillance, it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous, man. And this is what I was saying with the thumbnail, with the people with the cages around their head. You can't even talk to most people. You can't. We're like survivors in the zombie apocalypse movie. We're like the people in Invasion of the Body Snatchers. Look at that movie. If you fell asleep, the pod, right? Like the plant pod would grow a replica of you and replace you while you were sleeping. So it's like a metaphor. If we fall asleep mentally, we get replaced by their ideology. And we see that clearly with political supporters. We don't see a person, we see a hollow representation of
But
that
the
person.
difference is, don't make yourself a victim, and you're speaking more on that side. To where
I'm not speaking on the
to
victim.
where I say, once I understand what's going on, I don't have to see myself as a victim anymore. I'm observing what's
I'm
going
not
on.
saying it's a victim. I'm
No, but
talking
you're
about when
you're
you look
acting
at
like you're a
other
victim. That's
people.
what I'm saying. That's the
No,
complex.
when you look at other people and you see them worshiping, praying to Trump, you see them,
Okay, see, now
voting for
that's victim
Biden.
mentality. That's what I'm saying. Once you
No,
get out of
you're
that,
not even looking at a person anymore. Like Invasion of the
I'm not
Body
taking it
Snatchers.
personally. These guys are actors. Why am I going to take an actor personally if it's not real?
I'm not talking about the political, I'm talking about their followers. When you look at their followers, you see a hollow representation of that person with the ideology of the politician
Because
implanted.
it's designed to produce that.
Man, that is like, I said that like years ago, and I'm trying to give it the analogy of demons or the body center. It's kind of like that. It could be, it could be, there's a possibility. It could be that, or it could be that the memory wipe, a person with the blue lights. Now they're showing the mice that go through the maze, and then they flash one with the blue lights. It can't remember how to get through the maze while the other one can. So that Men in Black neuralizer seems to be real technology. This is what they're telling us. So if they're telling us this, imagine the level that it's at. Now, we might have something somehow that allows us to resist it that we don't even know we have. It could be maybe the fact that we think it's something. Maybe we're actually real humans compared to somebody who might have been cloned, or somebody that has something genetically in them that allows them to be susceptible to this form of mind control. Because there's sometimes when it affects us all, but I'm not going to look up into the sky and say that that's natural. If I ever say that, you know that somebody did something. Would you ever look up into the sky and be like, you know what? I'm going to change my mind on that. Even though there's a patent out, I showed this stuff, 1920, mist fog generator to be mounted on planes, disperse things, as I would have to say. How would I say, I think GMO food is good. Why would I say that? Why would I say that? So when somebody like Rogan, we want to say, okay, maybe he was compromised, but you got to remember he was
Okay,
an
but
actor.
let's go back to let's say let's say you're an economic guy and don't really care or don't have a knowledge of the food itself and how poisonous it
The
is.
economy. If you
He's going
care
to say
about the
an
economy,
economic. Well, he's saying if you use
if you
this, you can
think the
save half the
economy
money.
is important, right? Try to hold your breath when you count your money.
No, but they're not thinking about that. Let's say you're that type of person that you studied economy, you're in a high position, but you don't understand. Like he's basically saying, well, if we use these artificial things, it'll last longer, it'll cost 50% less, blah blah blah. All the things that they're going to gain physically, but they don't
Right when
account
he's
for the
saying that,
but they don't account for the
has to go
poisons.
off.
They don't account for the poison that's there, but they're happy because it checks off all their boxes. So you see how ignorance can create this poison based upon the greed.
Ignorance is one part, but it can also be directly malicious. But ignorance is a part of it, and stupidity. Somebody could, it could be the person. Well, if somebody's getting paid for it, see, that's the worst type. That's the worst type. When you see these professors that are getting paid to lie, the worst than that is the ones that get paid and they actually believe the lie.
That's why I gave Bill Hicks all the credit, man. He says if you're a marketer, he'll offer.
The best thing that Bill Hicks said is it's just a ride. That's what it is. It's just a ride. So he understood that. Look, man, while you here, right? Like, look at the Braveheart thing. He's like, look, if when you're 80 or 90, if you even live that old, or 70, and you're dying, would you trade all that time from now to then to fight right now and stand up and a chance you could die right now? But would you trade all those years of just wasting away, following, going along? Go another brick in the wall.
What it is.
Like Pink Floyd said. Would you say, you know what? No, I'm gonna fight this, man. And it's diabolical, man. I remember one guy, he told me that, he said, it's diabolical. Liberals
it's a metaphysical fight?
And Republicans. What were you saying, Mr. X?
What if it's a metaphysical fight? What if that's what, this is why we got to get into the evolutionary issues.
What if it's both?
It could be both, but if there's another realm that's in control of this.
Why would it only be? Because I'm not, like opposing what you're saying. I'm just saying, okay, some people would say, no, it's just a physical fight. The person that's maybe an atheist. Then the person that thinks a little more will say, well, maybe it's I remember one lady used to tell me, this is not a battle of the flesh. I'm like, yeah, but we in the flesh right now. So what what if it's both? That makes the most sense. To say, look, if you got a chance to do something, do it. Silence is consent. If a person who is 20 years old would say to you, what the hell have you been doing for 10 years? Since I was 10, I'm 20, and you're seeing all this stuff in the sky. What the hell you been doing for 10 years? So you didn't even care. You didn't even care. And this is something where I don't think people ask themselves this question.
We got to know what. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead. We got to know who we're fighting till first. You know what I mean? We got to be.
It's not even who we're fighting. It's saying, wait a second. What have we done to say, we could have produced textbooks. We have it at the touch of our fingers for the last 15 years. So now there's really no excuse. And I hear what you're saying. There's not much we could do. Who we're fighting, but there are ways to say, okay, you know what? I got with organic farmers. I support them. I'm working on letting people know, like, look, don't eat these things. Remember, you see the stuff in the sky. You try to protect yourself. There's not much we can do about that, but being aware of it is the first step.
Yes.
You
Organizing.
see, you just said the word. You have to be aware of it. How many people are aware of that?
That's the key. I'm not pro awareness first. That's my thing.
Well, awareness is the first step, and then to be realistic, to say, well, not everybody's going to be able to be helped. If you think you're going to help everybody, because I hear people
talk. You're basically like Morpheus asking this guy.
That's not a real. Remember, they said they wouldn't pull somebody out after a certain age. The same thing Star Wars tried to say. You can't train them after a certain age because he's too susceptible to turning. So we know this. It's like, and it's hard because you say, man, this guy got a lot of potential, but you don't know if this is going to work because maybe he's not going to turn, as they say. Maybe he's just too implanted with the ideology to where even if we think he's going to change, like how Alexis was saying with Dan Blazarian, but then when we think, okay, if he gets in, he's already been compromised.
Yeah.
But here's the thing, real quick, to summarize all of our what we're thinking right now. What you're saying are
Wow.
what you're saying is going against this evil
And they got
thing. We're
Terminator
all
seats too.
Well, hold on. We're all coming to the same conclusion. Someone needs to step up and do something.
Not
And,
someone, not someone.
okay,
You.
all this, whatever. We that same thing, that same ideology you have. I have. Mr. X has. All the people that come to this channel have that same ideology.
Now the best
Very
thing,
few
and
people.
now there are things people might say.
I'm saying
Look,
it came to that. You know what I'm saying? That it locked into that. That reality of what's happening came
okay,
to the
now
conclusion.
you
We
want to
all
say
know this is going on, right?
now you want to say, okay, you don't want to go just straight Sue fuel. You want to say, okay, how do I do something?
No. This should be the opposite. This should be exciting.
Well, if we use our mind, all right. There was a saying, art is rebellion without violence. This is why graffiti is illegal. If graffiti would change something, it would be illegal, and it is illegal. This is, if you think of, okay, if we were to produce, like I said, when you talked about your beliefs with the earth and all of that, well, where are the textbooks that you produced? This is why I'm leaving behind. I don't. Hey, if somebody buys the dating books, great, buy them. I hope it helps.
If we weren't at war all the time,
I produced those books to help people. I produced those books to help people, and what did I get from them? A kick in the ass. I got people that hate me for that. So I realized, okay, fine, and I'm not going back to that. So what I should have been doing, and it's not a shoulda, coulda, woulda, but it's saying, okay, you might say, well, man, you're just leaving those books out there to float. No, I'm doing the right thing. I'm saying, you know what? I need to start producing books about knowledge more.
Yes.
About
that's
why.
good. I'm just saying we all came to the same conclusion that something needs to happen. We need to step up or something there, that we're on this mission or something.
Need to produce. If you don't look.
I'm saying don't go beyond that. I'm saying we all came. The fact that we all came to the same conclusion.
Pass the ammunition.
The fact that we came to the same conclusion, we can say that's real, because multiple people can imagine.
You know what you're trying to say is it doesn't matter which path we take.
Scientifically,
if we're seeking the truth, if we're seeking the truth, it doesn't matter the path we take. We'll end up at the same destination, at the truth. So if we truly are seeking the truth, no matter which way you walk and I walk and X walk and everybody in the chat, we're going to meet up at the same conclusion, which is these people are corrupt beyond belief. Now, people.
That's fine, but you're deflecting. Why are you here? You're here to learn this, to maybe do something. That's the whole point of what I'm saying. We all came to the same conclusion. It's like us meeting out in the middle of nowhere in a camp. Oh, you want to live? You want to do this?
See, this is the thing. If you pointing at what somebody else is for, what are you missing? You're missing that you have.
No, I'm saying we all came to the same conclusion. We came from different lives.
It ain't no. It's you. It's what have you done? What have you? And I've said this to you when you brought up the earth and all of that. Okay, where are these guys going on these missions and saying, okay, look, I produced this book. This is their book about gravity, and this is my theory here. So like as I'm working on the theory of adaptation, which I've shown a few videos with the melanin and stuff like that, I'm creating the literature for this, the libraries for this. Now, we know they burn libraries down. So if okay, we don't want to just go up and fight them right away. If we have to, yeah, but life ain't going to be that long. You can.
That's why I keep bringing up Tupac, because he doesn't need.
No, please don't. Please, Scribe. I'm begging you.
He doesn't need guns. It's like you're saying. It's a mental.
What did Tupac do?
What if we could astral project?
For 30 years, all he did, all people I've seen is call each other the N-word and sing stupid ass songs, never doing a damn thing, eating the same candy bars.
Do you agree the pen is mightier than the sword?
What if we could astral project? What if we could, like the Egyptians? What if we could deal with this thing on a metaphysical level? What if we have that ability to astral project and see things that we can't see in this 3D realm? That'd be a whole different battle right there.
It would be, and people might be doing that. I remember that lady told me, she goes, don't think that there ain't some guy in a cave up in the mountains meditating to do something to try to, keep this in line. And I'm like, well, yeah, that's a possibility. But, I could see where, she grew up in Harlem. during the 60s. You know, told me she used to pass out flyers for the Black Panthers when she was like 13. And she saw when the FBI came how those guys were turning each other in. The guy, when they killed Fred Hampton, that was because of a black informant. So when I see people talk about, oh, this whole, black, there ain't no black and white. The people in those groups will turn on each other, and the people outside of the groups will turn on each other. It's True. Rat City. It is Rat City. And at that point, that's the point where you might have to physically fight and say, you know what, I'm going to have to die on this hill. Because I'm not going to let Agent Smith infiltrate me. And most people, as you see, so it's not saying die on the hill just now. It's saying, okay, that point could come. And that's being real with yourself. And when we can see examples, if somebody says, well, what are you talking? Well, look at Fred Hampton. Look, the guy's videos on YouTube still. The black informant, he's not on camera. You can see part of his body. He's saying, yeah, they paid him. He went, he gave the information. We see this happen with the Native Americans, with the Apache, the people that they outcasted from the tribe. They used them to find them. And this is, we see this throughout history repeating itself. If above all else, be true to yourself. You got to be true to yourself. Look at it. I mean, the movie that Jake loves, 300 Closets, right?
Yeah.
How did they find the path? The path was the guy that they outcasted, the guy that was disabled, led them through the secret path. So what does that tell us? One, you can't just throw people away like that because it comes back to bite you in the ass. You have to deal with that. You have to deal with that in one way or another. You have to say, okay, you know what? We're going to have to keep you here with us, but what are we going to do? Because, you know this person, you might just have to burn them at the stake. It's really a tough, because you say, if this guy goes, he can tell the enemy the stuff, and that's it.
That's why I'm so anti-rebellion on a physical level, because I just don't think it'll work. And I know it seems like a downer.
No, I'm not saying to be rebellious on a physical level like that. If like when you look at when you look at like the situation, you say, okay, if it comes down to it, and it's like you've got a kid, your child is older now. If you came to a point where they were going to use you to destroy your own kid or infiltrate your own kid, that's the point that does become physical.
Of course.
And that's not for me to make it that extreme, but just to push the point forward to say, wow, we're in some serious stuff. And if we don't take it that serious, we live long enough to see ourselves become the villain. And I've struggled with that and thought and said, wait a minute, how if I'm not doing them wrong? I don't get that. And I started to realize it. I started to say, wow, that's what that person meant. Whoever said it when they wrote it, or maybe it was written back in history, to say, yeah, it's like the Native Americans. You see it. The ones that are on the reservations, they live long enough to see themselves become the villain. And you guys got to stop doing this. We're going to vote our way out of tyranny. Okay, now we're going to put you next to these uranium mines. There's your reservation now. And
at this point, all we can do is observe what's happening.
I forgot who it was. He said they will come for you with the liquor bottle. I'm trying to think. Who was the Irish monk?
That's true. A lot of the Indians, heavy alcoholics. I've seen it at the casinos all the time.
Yeah, but this guy was in India. I think he was telling the Indian, he was saying that they will come for you with the liquor bottle, they'll come for you with the rifle, they'll come for you with something else. And it was something.
But in the end, isn't it your own truth? Everyone has their version, what they think, what's the truth, right? Or what God is real, or what politician is correct, and all these things, right?
Say it again.
I'm saying everyone has their own version of what they think this is. The
monk behind the legendary Indian rum is actually Brigadier Kapil Mohan. So he is the So Mohan Meakin, who created Old Monk, it was something like he said, they'll come for you with the liquor bottle, they'll come for you with the rifle, they'll come for you with this other thing. And look at the Native Americans, what they did. They decimated them with the liquor. Look at what they did to the Chinese. How do you think the British got Hong Kong? Opium. They fought the Opium Wars, if you ever look that up. So they could bring, by the gun, bringing in the opium. And they strung out the Chinese aristocracy. I mean, this is like warfare on so many levels.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. Heavy levels. I'm glad you pointed that out, because that's another level of warfare that can we really defeat? You know what I mean? It's really they're attacking the mental. They're attacking the mental right there.
I'm saying that there's so much information out there that we get caught up in all these realities, and we don't know what the hell is real. We think it's real. Everyone has their own version of what they think
we know
reality
they're poisoning us. We know that.
Everyone, okay, well, that's another thing that unless you knew about it, you would know about it. But there's so many different things that you can go many lifetimes without even knowing about that, because how do you expect someone to know about all these things, right? So the reality is what you think reality is, and you combine all those things. But it seems like we have common traits here that we know there's something here. No one's doing anything about it. It's just happening. We're basically cattle. Okay, it's happening. No one cares, but people do care. With that, if no one cares, then we wouldn't be here. So people that do care are here. Therefore, we are ready to do some sacrifice to help that cause, which puts us already in a good
here, right? What if you were sent here to see if you would do something, or if you would stay subservient?
And this is what eats me up every day. It's like I'm here and I'm
you're
living the money life. Look, I'm living the money thing, and the
what's eating you up is the same thing that eats me up.
All this shit.
We're becoming the villain.
Is happening, but the overarching effect is, why aren't you doing something to?
It's like we're becoming the villain. We're becoming the Tupac.
It's not something that I thought of. It's in me already. Huh?
We're becoming the Tupac. We're becoming the villain. Christopher, good to see you, brother. He says all warfare is camouflage and deception. Yeah, it's Sun Tzu, man. All warfare is based on.
It's to say.
Point. That's a good quote.
I'm saying, look, before you read off, it's to say, are you ready to give up everything right now?
Yeah,
before money, before family,
right now,
before all these things that you're supposed to be living for, have children.
I'm not living. I'm not trying to have kids.
Are you willing to give that up for doing that thing, that mission?
Look, if somebody, and when I think about it, this is why they're afraid of people getting together and doing something like that, because we can't really say that on the air.
Yeah,
but it's to the point where like I said before, I was born to die. I don't hear a lot of people saying that.
That's one part of you. One side of me feels that way.
The other side,
one side of me feels that way.
No, don't project your fear onto me.
The other side saying no.
You have your family.
You see, you don't want to listen. I'm saying that side is telling me no. The other side is telling me this is the way. Which one's the way?
That's you.
You tell me then. Explain that.
Speak for yourself. You asked me a question.
Really? So you don't have a little angel right here, the devil over here trying to sway your opinion?
You didn't want to hear my answer. You wanted to hear your opinion coming out of my mouth. That shit ain't going to happen. I
never said that. I'm saying you're not one person, and we were agreed on that.
And now you tried to push your crap on me.
I'm not pushing nothing. We've already had talks about multiple people.
You just got to accept my answer. That's it.
Yeah.
You asked me, I answered it. Now, what would you do?
It's a touchy subject, then. I'm saying I don't know which one's real. I have one side saying I want to do this, and then the other side saying, "Are you crazy?"
That's called, right?
That would that's like
that's called cognitive dissonance, a mental conflict. So you got a conflict within your own mind.
That's how your brain works. That's how reality works.
No, you don't know. You see, that's how it would work. No, that's
okay. So you're telling me you've never been in a situation where one side telling you one thing,
right, and something that's wrong. That's fighting each other in your own mind.
I'm saying the one side wants this thing, but your gut feeling saying, "No, I don't think that's right. Don't do that." But you do it anyway because you're too desperate. That's what I'm talking about. You have two different things, telling you one's telling you no, one's telling you yes.
It's like that kid on the video. In times like that, he thinks, "What would Tupac do?" They want you to go back to dumb stuff like that, right?
So
remember when that kid said that?
Tupac?
Remember
he has to bring up Tupac. I brought up earlier, but now he's bringing up Tupac.
It just because when I look at that and I say to myself, the brainwashing is so deep with that stuff that it's saying, hey, you know what? Sing a song, talk about it, act like a revolutionary, but don't do nothing. Don't do nothing. Just sing a song and hope that somebody else does it. It's like when you guys were trying to take in the closet and you guys telling me to start the channel and go after
my personal issue.
Look, no. Look at the stuff what you guys were saying on the other stream with Jake and Le Closet, and you're telling me to go after Closevicula. And I was like, Mr. X even said, it's like you sounds like you're trying to get me to fight your own battles.
You want to bring that up? I mean,
do it yourself.
Yeah. And I'll support you.
I didn't bring up any of that, Mr. X.
No. I'm bringing it up. I'm bringing it up because it's related to this. When you say, oh, well, what are you going to do? Well, it ain't about.
No, I said everyone has an issue with one side. You realize we have two hemispheres. There's two lobes and all that.
That's what they tell us.
That's what they seems like. And actually, there's not even two. It seems like there's three.
Okay, so now you're seeing that.
Multiple
now you're
things swaying. You're not even letting me talk. There's multiple things swaying your opinion at all times. Right now, you're thinking right now. One side's telling you destroy this guy. Other side's saying no, be nice. Other guy's saying you see there's all these different things. You can convert to these guys like this, and they can. That's part of the MK Ultra.
You know what people don't want to do? They don't want to think. So if you really think
you're not listening. You have. No,
you're not.
You have a tightrope.
Think it out, right? If you think it out, you smart. You computer expert, you could start building things. You could say, you know what? I'm going to create a website. I'm going to create something that
there you go. When's the last time you had a grandiose idea and all of a sudden you realize, damn, okay, it was a great idea, but it requires these things.
You destroy anything before you even started. That's what you just did.
Yeah.
Right?
No, then you realize later.
I mentioned the thing and you destroy the shit right before you even started. So you just accept that's why you feel like a piece of shit.
No, I'm telling you my experience, and I'm saying once I realize that, I have to work in reverse.
Any type
I have to go in reverse to understand what happened.
What would help Presley to you?
What was that?
Yo, Brian Nichols is hilarious, bro.
What would Elvis Presley do?
Yo, he just not ready. Good to see you, man. Holy smokes.
You're not equipped for that conversation. That's all. That's okay.
I mean, maybe I'm not, man, but I ain't gonna wait for. I mean,
we get Arabian. Appreciate the super chat.
I mean, it's just brother Arabian, bro. Thank you for the support, man. He says, even my late mother, who believed that the battle is not against flesh and blood, but the spirit. Ephesians 6:12. But even she said, we are still in the flesh, physical. Thank you, brother. Thank you, man. I had mentioned it earlier. Yes, we are in the physical right now, man. We're living. We got both. It's a spiritual and a physical, but definitely a physical, bro. Thank you for the support, brother. It's so true. Ephesians 6:12, man. It's so true. We are still in the flesh. We're still physical right now. So we can't mentally. We're not flying away to another. We know that there's another part of us, but we're in the flesh. We have that chance now. It's so true. Yes. Salute to Brother Arabian, man, Brother Ali. It's so true, man. It's so true. It just, when I think about it, it's a battle. It's a battle. I mean, when you look at the water,
but you can't see yourself as a victim, though. You see, that's the thing.
I never said I'm a victim.
No, the way you're talking.
You know who says they're a victim? The person you worship, Tupac. That's who says he's a victim.
No, that's exactly what's trying to release that.
No, that's victim music. That's all he's talking about in that is being victimized. If you really look at it, this is the stuff where I was just I'm not trying to change you because I can't change you. Only you can do that. And you bring it up every now and then, and I say, wow, what it shows me is how deep and how exact their control is. Because till this day, you got people that still listen.
I'm rising up and saying, I'm not going to judge somebody for an action. I have to look more into why this person turned into a serial killer. Why did this person turn into this? What happened here? I'm not going to judge them, prejudge them like everyone wants to do, and put on blast.
That's like standing in the road and a car's coming at you.
Because it can happen to you. Someone could say something, show a video clip, take your shit out of context. All of a sudden, you're the villain. Right?
No, you standing in the road. The car is coming. You say, "Man, I don't know why this car is coming toward me." Instead of getting the hell out the road, man. You know what I'm saying? That's just what you saying. Well, I'm not going to judge this. It's like, look, judge or not, that car is heading toward you. Walk away. Get on the sidewalk. You see, you're over here saying, well, I'm not going to do. Well, he's judging you. I'm not saying to judge him.
The car coming to that instinct. That's a different thing. I'm talking about being able to be above that and observe it. Why is this stuff happening? There's a reason why. I want to find out what that is versus play it in this fake.
All right. The reason why. Let me show you the reason why it is not the real.
Then you'll never understand.
No.
You'll never get
listen to what I'm saying.
Like
somebody steals your wallet, right? Somebody steals your wallet. You chasing him. You get your wallet back. Now, do you want to get your wallet back, or you want to say, "Look, man, this is why you shouldn't"? I want to know the reason why you stole it. I don't give a shit. What is it? Give me my wallet back, man, and I'm out. Be thankful I'm not doing something, not going frailty on him with Otis. It just you're
the victim again.
There's a reason. It's like, what's wrong with you, man? Somebody
is victim is the thing that kills all your ambition, is what I'm saying.
Don't kill mine.
Once you rise above that and say, okay, this guy's mentally ill, I gotta accept that.
Ambition, man. Brother Ali, man, thank you, brother, for the support. He says, salute to the brothers and fine ladies listening. Yes, definitely, bro. Definitely, brother. The ladies,
it has killed your ambition because now you can't be yourself.
What are you talking about, Scribe? What are you talking about?
I'm saying once you put barriers up, once you put like I was saying earlier about the traumas, like once you're a child and you grow up and you go through these traumas, you build these barriers, and these barriers are safe, but at the same time they're preventing you from busting out.
Scribe, no matter what you've been through as a kid, as an adult, it's your responsibility to get through it. So people can say all that stuff, oh, this and that. That's the victim mindset. You try to say
the deepest thing is what happened to you. What traumatized you as a kid is the deepest thing you're ever going to know. What happened to you as a child, that will scar you and more.
You didn't even have a bad childhood, man. You had let's say it wasn't great. Okay, it wasn't great. It was
great, but then met with reality, and then that scarred me.
Everybody was met with reality. What are you talking about?
Well, at an earlier age, Mr. X than most.
You know what messed you up, man? Tupac. That's what, and you don't want to admit it. That all the
stuff. You see, that wasn't even a thing when I was growing up. I looked at that later. I keep telling you after 9/11.
But whenever you hit that, whenever you
I didn't even understand what this dude was talking about at the time. So
you understand that's a total waste of time and mind. That's a total waste of time.
Honestly, I didn't even like his music originally. Like, who's this dude?
I told Scribe earlier, right? Before I started the stream, about an hour before, there was a guy that was live, and he was talking about hood myths and the street illusion, right? Mm-hmm. And I said, okay, let me hop on for like 10, 20 minutes. And I hop backstage. And he's talking about, the Hebrew Israelites guys in Manhattan against the FBAs and all of this stuff, seeing how it's very divisive, thinking that they're working, with the government, all this stuff. And I'm like, yeah, that's definitely, they're not doing positive things. They're basically grifting off of people, preying on the misery of the people they acting like they're helping. And I was waiting backstage, and the one guy that was on there with him, he was about to leave, and he goes, yeah, man, before I leave, who's better, Biggie or Tupac? And man, I could not believe. And then the guy's like, oh, Biggie, and another guy's like Tupac, and I'm sitting there, and I was just like, I just left. I left the backstage. I was like, I can't even believe this. And they kept talking about that for like 15 minutes. I was like, I can't believe this.
See, now you see how prominent that still is.
It just sees the zombiness that's out there in society. People are lost. You think that's intellectual?
Okay, hold on, Mr. X MD. So that means that there is no evidence, 0.0.0.0 evidence of anybody being able to
The
somehow
music
impact
is meant to
that
brainwash
darkness.
you, man.
No,
That's what
there has to be
Brother
something
Ali
to impact
says.
the
Brother
darkness.
Ali says, on a lighter note, on the lighter side note, my boomer friend confessed to me his love for Indian women. The Jeep pill is real. Yes, man. The Jeep pill. Definitely, bro. Definitely. I'd pick Tupac over Biggie any day, but they're celebrities at the end of the day. Exactly, man. Controlled opposition. Controlled opposition. It gets us to thinking like, okay, if when they're saying that, I'm saying, well, wait a second. What about the GMOs? What about the liquor stores on
Go
every
back.
corner? What
Let's go
about
back
the
to Tupac
liquor
Biggie
stores?
because
We go
Tupac was
against
on
the
a
important
completely
issues
different
by
mission.
talking
Biggie was
nonsense.
just being Biggie, and he's best with flow. He did his thing. Has nothing to do with Tupac did.
See,
They happened to
Scribe,
be
I
his
mean,
friend.
MD, you're like a
He
chef
let this guy
cooking
sit
a
on his couch.
cuisine, like
Okay,
a five
he
star
built
meal,
Biggie,
and then here comes the shit to
Yeah,
ruin the whole thing.
yeah,
bro. He
exactly.
built Biggie was his little brother. They
I don't
turned
care.
him
Who cares?
against him.
The
They
bottom line,
turned
Give a
Biggie
shit.
against
Scribe,
Tupac.
who cares?
Who
Right.
cares? Because that came up. That comment he
You know,
just said.
and I'm
That's
trying
why.
to use it. I'm trying to use it as an example to say, look, do we want to talk about
Look,
that,
bro. If you
or do
can't
we
take no
want to talk
smoke, then
about
what's the point?
solutions?
That's
You
not
can't
smoke.
take no smoke
That's a
of what you
fart.
know. What is the point of this reality?
We
Why would you
want to
want to know
talk
more
about
if you can't even take
smarter
smoke?
things.
Yeah, more intelligent conversations here.
You already know. We
No,
say,
because
look,
we're always gonna have different minds, right? Are we all the same mind?
No, but I'd be okay with MD talking about that if he didn't have that intellect that he has. But the fact that he has this type
Mr.
of
Superstar
intellect,
one is right. Yeah, Scribe. You know what it is? It's probably getting late, and he's not thinking.
mhm.
Yeah,
No,
he's
you've
not
spoken
thinking.
95% of the time, so this guy
No,
is
this
just,
kind of
dick riding.
conversation is a waste of your intellect, MD. It really is.
Exactly, man.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
don't
you
want that.
ask a question, they
And
want to give
Mr.
an
X is also
answer.
dick riding. That's it. That's interesting. But yeah.
This is, it's about saying, okay, what can we do to make this a better world?
Yeah,
If you right, so we have at our fingertips production. Part of it is the conversations that we have on the show. That's a part of it. The questions people ask, the comments they make in the chat, it's all building up our knowledge. We're learning. We're saying, okay, this is part of it. Now, also production.
You must
Production.
have opposition, like you were saying earlier. You must have another view to challenge your
No,
theory.
you can't.
Really? So how do you get
You just
better?
want to fight. You a drunk.
How does a fighter
wanna
get better?
fight.
How does a fighter get better?
No. That's what it is. Instead of building together, you want to break stuff down because that's what you've been taught.
yeah.
That's that
That's how
Tupac
you get. That's how you
mentality.
get armor. You get
That's that
stronger.
mentality of never build up, always throw. So just like Mr. X said, just like
So you want to be comfortable, is what you're
Mr.
saying.
Pride wanted to say, you interrupt too much. You sitting there, and just when somebody's making something, you throw some dumb shit in. Brother Ali says, at least our friend Drew Ma has his own urban garden. He's definitely doing something. He definitely is. I'll give it to Drew Ma, man. He just the fact that he's grown vegetables and shown his children. I mean, I know he works a lot, 70, 80 hours a week, and he's very mad because of the money he had the pay for taxes. But, and that was his whole thing of getting mad, saying he made, he paid like 70 something grand and, it took basically half his check. And he's like, oh, it's to support the wars and all of that. And he was very angry on that. And I'm like, well, what do you, and he was trying to get me to talk about that. He's like, oh, you're talking about human origins and stuff. And I'm like, bro, it's like, well, then start a show.
Yeah.
It's the same thing with Scribe and Jake and La Closet. If they want to talk about dating, well, start a show.
That's interesting. I'm interrupting, even though I used to be the co-host. I guess I'm not anymore.
Well, you are if you want to pay the $90 a month so we can get 2 seats. You see what I'm saying? So it's all about that now because now they ain't giving it for the $45 a month. We used to be able to have the 2 seats. If I would have kept it, I would have had that. But StreamYard just keeps getting more and more expensive, and it's ridiculous. I mean, eventually I'm going to have to get it, but You're still a co-host. It's just that you.
Yeah,
you,
I couldn't believe I went in there and the thing wasn't there. I was like, "What's going on?"
And then I checked it. I didn't even know. You know, I mean, I was like, wow. Brother Ali says it's his fault for working beyond 65 plus hours. I learned my lesson. So, yeah, man. I heard the overtime, they chomp it to where it's not even working it because of the tax. It's horrible. I mean, and he works hard. The garden he's doing, man, I'll give him a lot of credit. He should do radio again. He definitely should. Wado says, always good to see my brothers MD Scribe and Mr. X. Thank you, bro. Always a pleasure to see you, bro.
Thank you.
The link is up there. We have 2 ears and 1 mouth for a reason. We're meant to listen. And you know, the word listen, if you respell those, it also spells silent. That's the amazing thing about that word. It just the real virtue said, then I think it's okay for Scribe to maintain his own opinion about, yeah, man, you know, I ain't got a problem with that, man.
But it's got to be done the right way. You know what I mean? It's got to be done in the right way.
Yeah, man. Yeah, definitely work between 60 to 63. Don't do 65. Yeah, done that. Yeah, man. It's like even 40 is hard. I mean, when I look at the fact that it's like we're all 40-hour hostages. I think Bukowski said it best. He said the 40-hour hostage work week has been normalized to a point because we're so scared that we don't want to die freezing under a bridge. And it's so true. It's so true. And now they're outlawing people sleeping in their vehicles. I mean, if that ain't...
Okay, that's the stuff that Tuvok will talk about. You don't want to read that. So
there we go. We threw the shit in. We just threw the shit in.
Yep.
You know,
so I'm saying that's the only book he ever wrote was called From a Rose to Concrete. As
he didn't write that shit.
He came out of
he didn't write no book. He didn't write
for money at all.
He didn't write no book. Don't fool yourself. Don't fool yourself thinking he wrote a book.
It's just crazy. You think he'd have to write it? He'd have to just give someone the concept and write it for him.
Dog shit. I'm sorry, Scribe, but I got to call it like
he came from the gutter and rose.
Yeah, he came from the gutter. A gangster. A guy who says he's a gangster. Never lived the gangster life, right? What was he a gangster when he was going to ballet class? That's when he was a gangster?
That was the media.
Was he a gangster when he was acting with Jada Pinkett and them?
He's acting. He's acting.
In Poetry Love, he was selling crack back then. He never did that.
Nope.
He never.
Nope. He was into the arts. Heavy in art.
It's just like Ice Cube. Ice Cube having 2 parents, going to Crenshaw High School. Those guys didn't live that life.
Nope.
And they try to say Eazy was the only one. He probably didn't even live it that much. Because if you're a gangster, you're not telling people you're a gangster. That's a real gangster. You see, the real gangsters, you don't hear from them. They're either dead or they're doing gangster stuff. They try to give this persona of, oh, if somebody's a gangster, they're going to be talking about it, right? All those guys that play like they're gangsters, right, that we've seen in rap that openly talk about it, they all go to jail. They all go to jail.
Real gangsters, he was for the majority of his things, and he's still going platinum, man.
Oh my goodness, that's all. You know, Mr. Super Sidewinder says, "I work my fingers to the bone. Now all I got is bony fingers." So,
good one.
That Pac lived only 25 years is still relevant 30 years after his demise. All he did was get black
Thank
people
you,
to
real
destroy
virtue.
themselves.
Thank you for that. Then they'll never understand.
Of course, you're going to say all Pac did was he destroyed his own community, got people calling each other the N-word.
You can't even conceive
and wearing the pants down.
You can't even give him that much credit. A guy of color who rose above the government.
Killing each other.
He got people to demoralize themselves. Yes. That's what he got people.
Yeah, that was the collateral damage. But what's the bigger picture?
So Ali says, I will give it to Scribe. Tupac still balling with Trick Daddy was fire. Shout out to my Chinese, German, Spanish brother. Yeah.
Oh, you know what's funny? I see Trick Daddy plenty of times. I see him plenty of times. Trick Daddy. He drives a big what's it called? That truck, that Tesla truck. Yeah, I see him all the time.
You know, and that's another thing too. It's like what they buy is telling other people what to support because they know how zombies follow. If they saw them say, okay, look, why hasn't there been, if these guys are such revolutionary, why hasn't there been a black car company again? Why don't they do that? No, they want to support Tesla, the guy that does the Nazi salute,
Yeah.
and then they'll complain about racism. This is the insanity that I see. This is the insanity. And one black guy
So
called
now
out,
you want a black car company?
one black guy said, why, when these black guys have beef with each other, they putting hits out on each other, but they don't put.
It's funny how you support that, but when Tupac is here, now all of a sudden.
Shut the fuck up, goddammit. I'm tired of this drunk shit, Scribe. You're really pissing me off now. It's freaking ridiculous, man. I don't even give a shit no more. You know what, man?
You gotta let him finish.
Now, there's not much more to say, Mr. X. You know, I only got limited hours, and you know, it gets to the point where for me to have to come out and say that shit, man, you just, you know, a nagging little bitch, man. Just a nagging little bit. And I told you about this shit before, man. I told you. Just don't fucking listen, man. You know, I told you before, you haven't been beaten enough as a child, man.
Bring it out, man.
Everybody in the chat,
inevitable.
man.
It was inevitable.
No, just shut up, man. Just shut up. It's like any type of point, any type of shit. Mr. X seen this shit constantly, man.
Yeah, even I had to say something.
A nagging little bitch, man. Yeah. Anytime we try to make, like you said, cooking, doing some type of seasoning, something, getting a good conversation, no, he got to do that shit. And I'm just like, what the, you know, it pushes me to the point where it's just like, I wonder why I do these shows sometimes, man. But I know everybody in the chat, thank you, brothers, man, for the support. Yeah. It just really, you know, you push a person to, and it's my fault because I should control myself more, but I'm human. I let people know who I am. This is what I am. I'm not a nice guy. I'm a real guy. That's just what, sometimes I'm good. Sometimes I'm neutral. Sometimes I'm not. And that's as honest as I can be, man. But to have my own friend do that, it's like, bro, you know, what's wrong with you?
I don't know. I can't answer that. It baffles me why he has to keep doing this shit. It seems deliberate
constantly until he, you know, and this is what people do. They push you to the point to where you do something, and then they play the victim. Yeah. Oh no, but you're victimized and shit. And I'm just like, what the? It got me to that point. Brother Ali, thank you for the support, brother. Says been here since 2020. Yeah, bro. You are so OG, bro. Thank you for being here for so long, bro. It just, I mean,
you got a lot of great supporters here. Think about them. You know what I mean? You got a lot of good supporters here that are backing you up.
Yeah, I tell you, man, I really I need to produce more stuff. I'm just like, the fact that I haven't come out with a book in so long now, and I really got to get that together to push it through. And you know, I don't mean to yell at Scribe like that. He knows I still got love for him, man.
Yeah, but he can't be doing that. Honestly, he can't. I'm calling it as a neutral observer. I mean, I had to say something at some point.
Yeah, it just gets to a point where it's like, bro, you know, what's, you know, it just.
And just be honest, do you want MD back in the dating scene of the dating streams? Is that what your whole goal is to mess up this stream just so you can have him do that?
It's really sad.
Is that what it's all about? Because if it is, that's sad.
Yeah, and sometimes Jake will be on, he won't shut the hell up sometimes. Oh. God damn, it's like, you know, it just really, and Amaze, good to see you, man. He says, we haven't seen MD and Scribe have a moment like this since 2020. Take it easy, guys. You're brothers. Have come along. Yeah, man, he's still my brother regardless, man. Yeah, he's always, regardless what happens, it is what it is. And you know, it gets to a point where when we have, like, you and I were having a great conversation during that mushroom stream.
We've done it for hours, remember? Hours.
Yeah, and he came on and he was right in with it. Good, everything was great. And I think even when Jake came on, it was still good. What the catalyst was that switched it was lasagna. Mm-hmm. And, you know, lasagna's still cool, but hopefully they'll see and they'll say, hey, you know what, man? You know, maybe I'll stop doing that. Maybe I'll try to add to it and make it better. But it just really gets me thinking. Brother Ali says baddies and cute girls are just the garnishes and spices of life, but the real black peel of the world realities matter most. But the real black pill, of the world reality matters most. Exactly, man. Yeah, the reality, man. The BP is the real, man. It just, I mean, part of me does. If everything was cool, I would probably produce something like on a very high level for that. But
Mm-hmm.
I think like producing shorter stuff that I can produce within a month to where I can have it out. Like I was going to produce something with when I split the architect's book in half, and I said, okay, it's just too long. And another thing is people aren't really reading as much. The audio books have overtaken ebooks, I think, the last few years. So I'm like, you know what? If I could make videos and those get enough views, well, that is better than selling the copies of the books because YouTube will pay you based on the views too. I mean, if somebody gets like, if you get 1 million views on a 10-minute video, you're getting paid like $3 to $5 grand.
That I think you could have some success in.
That and
You
I'm
got to push it. It's going to take time, but I think you make some great shorts.
Yeah, I'm definitely considering that is like the real yeah, man. If it Brother Ali says spirit pilled, organic pilled, nature pilled, brother pilled, cheat pilled. Yeah, man, you know it, brother. Definitely, man. I really need to, yeah. Christopher, good to see you, bro. He says, we're British. We have Swedish furniture, drive German cars, eat Italian, Chinese, Spanish. We're in sweatshop clothing, eating processed food, watching processed TV, living in a processed life in conformity. Yeah, man. It just, man, when I think of what's going on, man, it gets to a point where I wonder, man. I really do.
You know what? The BP and the theory of evolution, it all ties in together. Because if we weren't evolved from a higher order, if there was a creator and he created woman just for us, that would explain some of the power of female attraction, why it's so powerful on us, because it was designed by a creator. It didn't just happen by chance. So it all ties in together. And I don't think other guys understand this. It's like, the origins of humanity, it all ties in together to everything we do. Every aspect of our life, it ties into.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a big picture thing. Okay. So we didn't evolve. We were created. So what? So what? That changes everything.
Yeah.
That changes our whole outlook on life.
Yeah, no, it does. I mean, they've demoralized people so much with the evolution lie. It's like Drew Ma was an evolution zombie. He still is. I mean, he does change according to the evidence. And when I spoke with him a couple of months ago, he looked into it and he goes, hey, man, he goes, you're right about that. And I was like, well, it's not me being right. It's the evolution not being scientifically viable. I said,
Right.
because if somebody else would just say, oh, we're just agreeing with each other, and we're not agreeing with each other. We're agreeing with the evidence. Now, that saying it in that way, it's much more solid, realistic. It's like somebody saying we agree that politics is BS, right?
Right.
If they say, oh, well, you're right. Well, they say, oh, well, no, that's just you guys' opinion. It's like, no, it's not our opinion. When we look at it, we see the reality. Brother Ali says, I don't mean to upset Scribe, but I look at Tupac same way as Dr. York. Great music, but there are other takes. No thanks. No thanks. Yeah, man. Yeah, it's true. And I mean, I hope Scribe is all right, man. I didn't mean to go off that much. I mean, it just got to a point where he showed me where I need to improve a lot. I mean, because to just constantly poke and poke and poke, and it's like, come on, man, what's wrong with you? Are you a plant? And I've told him that many times. It's like, why would you do something like that, man?
Yeah.
He
should be supporting you.
Yeah, look at yourself and change, bro. It's like, don't do that, man. You want to go to somebody else's stream and mess with them, fine. But don't do that to your brother, man. It's like,
exactly.
Brother Ali says Dr. York made some good funk music, though. Yeah, man. There is some good funky music, man. I mean, I still like a lot of music. And when I think there was a guy, there was this event at a bookstore the other day I had went to, and one of the authors, he wrote this like fictional book about the Jersey Devil, some like forest creature, and he had a Black Sabbath T-shirt on, and I was like, yeah, I was like, I've listened to that when I was a teenager and stuff, and I was like, but I think it's all programming, and
Yes.
yeah, he was like he just wasn't like I could see he was like, nah, man, like and I'm saying to myself, like, bro, how much are you gonna listen to War Pigs and Fairies Wear Boots? And there's some cool songs, Sweet Leaf and stuff, but it's like, what are we really getting from that? Like I remember when the cars used to have a radio in it, basically, that you couldn't before people would still have cassette players and stuff, but I noticed that when you heard a song come on the radio, it had a better feel than if you played it from a cassette tape or a CD disc or something like that. It's like it was still good when you played it on your CD disc, but it just seemed a little more artificial than if you heard a song playing that you liked. It was like, I guess the word is spontaneous. You're in a store and you hear them, like that happens sometimes. Like in the supermarkets now, they play like sometimes oldies. Sometimes they'll play, music even from the 80s or 90s. And when I hear stuff like that, I'm like, wow, it sounds better because it wasn't like, what's the word? Like it wasn't planned. Like putting on a record or putting on a cassette or a disc or an MP3 song, it's planned because you're saying, okay, I'm going to play this song, I like it, and I'm going to listen to it, instead of just hearing it playing and saying, oh wow, I like that song. It just has a different feel, and I've noticed that it's sort of like it's like sex. Having spontaneous sex is much better than planning it. It just has, and not to say that planning it isn't good, but it definitely the
It
spontaneous.
almost seems. Oh, I'm sorry. No, I was just saying it almost seems like the whole music industry, not all music, of course, but certain songs were just advertising for drugs.
Oh yeah, a lot of them.
Drugs.
Yeah,
That's
the
all.
whole Eminem had the pill was basically on his CD, the Screaming Xanax pill.
Yeah.
I think one of his albums had like a collage of all these pills making up his face. And I'm like, how? And then on his songs, he's like, don't you want to be just like me? And it's like, what are you doing what are you doing to people? Brother Ali says, when I first tuned into you, I worked at a college juice bar full of baddies, messed with the girls occasionally. Those girls definitely dance to funk, disco, and electronica, even if it's not their thing. Yeah, bro, the college juice bars. There's some baddies in college, bro. That is definitely, and the funk and the disco and electronica, those musics, you have like a better fun. It's like it is like a dance music. Everybody's like fun. There's no angry feelings. It's all like the electronica, your tempo in. The disco is just happy. The funk is funky. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, man. Amaze says agreed. It feels different when a song is played on the radio, at the store, or at the airport. It feels more original and nostalgic. Yeah, man. Yeah, I noticed that, and I said, yeah, it's like I just, I got to the point where I was like, yeah, it just doesn't make sense for me to really to just put something in and play it. I mean, I have CDs somewhere. I mean, I haven't played them in a long time. It just doesn't make sense. Sometimes I'll listen to something on YouTube, but even then I'm like, what am I doing? I need to be like producing something. Brother Ali says, move to vocational labor. I still miss the baddies and the job to this day. And it was organic, non-GMO too. Wow. Yeah, the organic, non-GMO, that's the way, man. That is like, everything. I try to get that as much as possible. I did, when I think, like, I ate some oyster crackers, I felt guilty for eating them. And the best because I can definitely feel. I ate them like a while ago too, man. They're just like when I first started the show, and they still, I always pay for that when I eat something that, I realize like, yeah, I shouldn't have been eating that, even though it's not that bad. Maybe it's got about 8 ingredients, but who knows? That's the 8 ingredients that maybe the only ones they have the list. Like I've heard that in some breads there is plaster of Paris and they don't have the list. There's like 2 or 3 ingredients they don't have the list. And then of course we're getting the ingredients that are just in there, like the law allows a certain amount of crushed insects in peanut butter. Yeah, like I think it's a certain amount of milligrams. So if you get like crushed roach in the peanut butter, it gets mixed up, and maybe that could be those little spots that you see. But it's so crushed up, you don't know. So you get the crushed roach or beetle in the peanut butter, and there's a certain amount allowed. Like with milk, the milking machines will stress the udder of the cows to where a little bit of blood will come out when it's milking. And of course, they're over milking them. So I think it's every quart or half gallon or gallon. So you're allowed a teaspoon. I think it's a teaspoon to 3 teaspoons of blood. So, and think about how often are they really checking that? And then of course, they're going to color it most likely with titanium dioxide or something to keep it milky white. It's crazy. It's really, yeah.
But like I say, we're at the mercy. I mean, with the prices they are now, and let's face it, most people can't really support themselves agriculturally. We don't have a farm.
Yeah, it's very hard.
I'm just keeping it real. I'm just keeping it real as best I can.
It's true. It's very
I'm not
true.
denying anything you're saying isn't true. I 100% agree with everything you've said. And there's cancer rates are like through the roof.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So yeah, I agree 100% with everything. It's just they're trying to be realistic. I still go to Walmart. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah. I mean, there's a thing that they did with Iowa, like where they spray a lot of the glyphosate, I think, and they're saying that the rates for cancer are much higher in the states that they spray it more. So yeah, that's Brother Ali says plaster of Paris, aka cheaters, plasters, and boxing. Yeah, man. Yeah, exactly, bro. Little black specks in the peanut butter. Oof, man. We don't know if that's roach, beetle, or I doubt it's the little shell of, little like that. It's not even brown. It's like more of a reddish color. That the little the sheath that covers the peanut. Like I used to eat peanuts from the peanut itself. You have to crack it open, and you get the 2 peanuts, and it would have like that little dark burgundy sheath around the peanut, and which contains, I would think, minerals and stuff too. But
I've been eating sesame seed peanut butter lately. Sesame seed, I think it's called.
Yes, sunflower
seed peanut butter.
Oh yeah. The thing is it's good, but when it's eaten, when you buy it in the jar and they're making in those facilities, bugs are going to get crushed up in it. So they have to have a law where it amounts a certain amount. It allows a certain amount. So it's like you're going to get a little bit of crushed roach in there. But if there's ways, and I've seen these grinders where you can, within a minute, you can put peanuts in it and grind your own peanut. It's just like coffee. Yeah, they actually have videos of it. I remember seeing it a while ago. So you can, and I thought it was like, I was like, nah, this can't be real. So they put like some peanuts in a jar and you stick in the grinder and it swirls them up, and within a minute or 2 minutes, it starts turning into like the peanut butter that has like the chunks in it. And then the more you grind it, the more smoother it gets. Just like coffee.
I'm gonna check that out.
Yeah, I still do the coffee zombie, but I grind the coffee beans. So I got a little grinder and I grind the beans, the organic beans. So if you buy coffee that's pre-ground, they allow, I think it's up to 10% of filler. So you're getting like sawdust. So that's one of the things you'll get in ground coffee. You're definitely going to get some roach and beetle and stuff like that. and who knows what else. So the pre-ground coffee is definitely not 100% coffee in there. But if you get the beans and you grind it up, that would be the equivalent of like getting the peanuts and grinding up the peanuts or the sunflower seeds or the pumpkin seeds or the sesame seeds, which it might not be as smooth unless you get a high quality grinder. So you could get a high quality peanut butter grinder, and it will become a pain in the neck because when you grind it, it's like, man, I got to clean this thing out because it's all stuck to it now, right? It's kind of like juicing. When I used to have a juicer and I would juice stuff, and it's like, man, cleaning this freaking thing, you get to the point where you don't want to juice. But if
that doesn't stop me from doing smoothies, and I just go to Smoothie King now.
Yeah. So it's like, but then again, when you go to Smoothie King, who knows what those, if it's clean, it's and that's the problem. Like, and yeah, I wonder about it, man. I just, it's to a point where I'm like, man, that's again the sloth. The sloth is what causes that. One of those, seven vices. Yeah. Brother Ali says, hey, buy organic coffee beans and grind them up also. Yeah, man. Yeah, the organic coffee beans, bro. I still have my Jacqueline juicer. Wow, that is so cool, man. I remember on my old channel when I first started on YouTube, I still have it from 06. I used to do like the raw food stuff. And I remember Jay Cordage had left a comment. I was surprised. The Juice Man. He passed, I think, a few years ago. I think he lived until his 90s. And I used to juice a lot. I used to have the cabbage and stuff like that, and the beets and the carrot juice and add the carrot apple. I remember making he had some pretty good recipes. I would take 3 apples and a slice of lime, and it was like the best juice, man. I mean, you can't beat the juicing for yourself. You just can't beat it, man. It's just, what's in it. It's pure, because when you think, when you're buying juice, and I still have bought 100%, juice, not from concentrate, but it's like, okay, if it's black cherry juice, because I couldn't get the organic thing, and it's expensive. It's like $10 a bottle. So it's like, okay, you get the like $9.90 something. And I'm like, if there's a black cherry with a worm in it, it's getting juiced up. They're not going to stop and take be like, oh, this one looks a little rotten or whatever. They're just juicing them all together. You ain't going to know the difference. And as opposed to if you created the black cherry juice yourself, which is hard. The pineapple juice, when I get that sometimes. And we've been so, what I would say is denaturized, to a point where, it makes you wonder, man. It's like, Brother Ali says, mine's from 2004 still runs. Wow. Jack Alain, man, that dude was a trooper, man. He really, I hand it to Jack Alain, man. He's got a lot of, he did a lot. He definitely did a lot, man. I got the guy coming on. Hopefully, if he still keeps the appointment, I got to make the thumbnail tomorrow for Wednesday. Like tomorrow, I'll stream a little.
Who's the guy?
Well, Wednesday night, Objective Ethics is supposed to come on.
Oh, great.
And, I was supposed to have a guy come on. He has videos. He did a video with Praveen Mohan, this other guy, Sosa, and he does the Dendera light bulb. So I think the video's on YouTube. He doesn't have a big channel. It's like the channel. I guess he's on another platform, like maybe Instagram. But
that's the Egyptian light bulb. The Egyptian light bulb.
Yes, he has.
I think I saw his page. I think I saw it by accident because I've been looking at a lot of Pre-Van Mohan videos, and he popped up.
Older guy, right?
Yeah, that's him. I have to check that video out then.
Yeah, he remade it, man. This guy's like on another level, and I connected with him. I left a comment, and he hasn't gotten back to me. Like, he wrote me, but part of it was deleted and edited. So I was like, okay. He said only Friday and Saturdays he has free at night. and he's older. So he goes, look, at 8:30 he turns into a pumpkin. So it's got to be between like 5 and 7. So I told him, all right, let me know when you want to do it. And, you know, if you want to share pictures, I guess we could still use the screen share. I'm hoping that works on the free plan. And, you know, I guess, you know, Scribe also saw that it doesn't have the other seat, because usually he could just jump on. Now I guess he's got to be backstage and I got to pull him on. And even with the other plan, they're saying, okay, StreamYard changed, man. It's sad. It just, you know, but I figure if I can make some higher quality videos, 10 minutes, that could fill that spot to where then I could get the I'll probably get, if those took off and I got a couple of 100,000 views on them, yeah, I would get the top thing from StreamYard to where we'd have the seats again. We could have more.
The right thing. I think networking like this is going to help you out tremendously. I really do.
Yes, yeah, because, you know, and now they're saying with the 2 seats you got to pay for more than 2. So I don't know what they're up to, but I mean, 2 is good because, you know, Scribe was able to start shows with that. You know, he didn't need me to be there, and he could end the show. So like if he was on and I left, he would end the show a few times, you know, so it was really a good thing. But now I guess, you know, times change and you know, and he's smart enough to build something like that. He knows that it takes a lot of stuff, a lot of like you got to have servers and all this stuff like that. So I don't really know the whole thing. Yeah, he definitely.
Well, I appreciate you having these streams, you know, and that's why I support, because, and you know, Scribe's got to do the same thing, man. It takes a lot of work to start a stream and get the ball rolling. You know what I mean?
I give him credit. I mean, he definitely kept the other channel alive by streaming, you know, those days.
I supported him on the other channel. I supported him.
Yeah, he definitely, you know, and he did Wisdom Radio. You know, he did some good shows. I mean, it just, yeah, hopefully, you know, I'll see what happens. But definitely tomorrow I'll stream, because this is about 2.5 hours. I did 2.5 hours last week, so that's 5 hours. So that means should be about 15 hours left. Tomorrow, if I use an hour or 2, and then save 2.5 for the guy Wednesday night. So we have, you know, he's a pretty cool guy. He had that guy Austin Sims on, the guy that I think he came on here. He's an evolution zombie, very aggressive type of guy. And he, you know, angry dude. I think he did a stream with him recently. And, you know, there's another girl, Robin something. She's an atheist. Older lady, you know, I think on her channel it said she's been divorced twice, and I think she has like 2 daughters or something. But you know, I think probably an atheist, people go through stuff, and you know, it's sad because we already know atheism is a religion, and they think, you know, they actually believe that they're not religious. You know, they'll look at it like, you're crazy for thinking they're religious. And I'm like, well, you believe that there's nothing else. That's a belief, you know.
You know, when I go on Breakfast Tacos, he actually, listening to those guys just reinforces my belief. They never come up with good arguments, just insults. They insult me in the chat all the time. I mean, that's all they do is say, you're too stupid for this. That's their answer.
And when they say, let me explain it to you, that's the killer. Like when they're like, let me explain evolution. It's like, no, we didn't ask for that, man. It's like, it's like they repeat. And I think it's a mental thing. It's a mental
thing. It's like a cult. It's really like a cult. Because the minute you, like they said, they were accusing you of being a Christian.
Oh yeah.
Big, and you're anything but. It's like, it's just like anything that goes against their narrative, you're automatically a religious zombie. They label you immediately. That shows you how wrong they are. See, they're labeling you completely incorrectly. So that shows you they really are lost.
Yeah.
They think you're a religious zombie. You're a religious, you're a Christian apologist. You know, that's what they think of you.
Yeah. They were calling on the Confluence's stream the other day. The guy was calling me a Protestant, and, you know, and he's, you know, Jewish. And I was like, bro, man, I was like, you believe in the Torah, right? And he's like, yeah. I was like, well, okay. I said, so you're not like, what are you telling me? Evolution is true? Because there's some Christians like that guy Clint Reptiles. He's an evolutionist, and I was like, bro, that's an oxymoron. I said, you're telling me, I said that doesn't make sense. And he got so mad, he made a community post out of it. This dude's got like 700 and something thousand subscribers. He's got a very strong audience. He gets like thousands of comments on his videos. And I could see, I was like, wow, this guy's either, a butt pirate in the church or something is very odd with him.
And if we just look at the science only, like those videos I sent you, that only the science, it's pointing to something else. It's pointing to order and design.
Yeah.
One guy of the scientist, he said that the human cell or the cell in general is like a factory. It's like a city when you look deep into it. It's that complex.
Yeah. It's very city-like. Even cell wall to allow nutrients and waste to pass through and in. It's very, you can't have that. Like I mentioned it to Confluence, the host, and he was seeing it. He's definitely looks like he's in his early 20s, but he was drinking, I think, a bottle of wine. So I think, and he was on screen. So I think he was getting a little tipsy, and he wasn't really like, because I was like, look, man, if you just do the math, and then he told the other guy, I think his name is Jacob. He goes, hey, you're a mathematician. And then there was another guy on there that got up and walked away. They got mad. They got angry when I was like, listen, I said, 10 to the 20th. I said, that's not going to happen by chance. I said, that's an extremely large number for just 20 amino acids to form the protein.
They got angry at that. That made them angry. You're giving a mathematical computation. That's what got them angry.
Yeah, the other guy was supposedly because when I said that, he goes, oh well, I think it was Jacob is the mathematician. So I said, well, if you're a mathematician, I said you can do the math and see that. And that's when he started basically saying, oh well, you're saying what the Christian apologists say. And I said, no, I said I'm giving you the science, and what they're saying, they're telling you the science part, but they do add in their religion. I said, so you're not able to separate that. I said, I'm coming from a strictly just giving you the evidence scientifically. And he's like, oh no, you're just, you're a Protestant, or you're the same as this. And that's when I was like,
but it shows you they're lost, right? For them to accuse you of that, it shows you how lost these people really are.
Yeah.
Like their judgment is so poor. Yeah. But one thing about that video that they made an interesting point about when they're talking about evolution, they talked about the beauty of nature. And they said that the beauty of nature, like a fish or a bird, the colors, serves no purpose in its survivability whatsoever. Zero purpose. I forget the term they used for it, but it's like that proves more that the creator is an artist as well. Because all the beauty in nature is not have anything to do with its survivability.
Yeah, well, see, they try to say that because they don't know. It's like when they say a color has nothing to do with its survivability, or something that it's like, so basically they're saying the color is a vestigial organ. It's like that, right? It's like, okay, so you don't know
what the evolutionary process, it doesn't play a role, I guess.
Yeah, and meanwhile, everything has a purpose. Every single thing, every microbe, every tiny thing on a person's body, on the bird, the color, the smell, the sheen, we just don't know what it's for. So it's like when we look at it, we start to say, yeah, this is this. And later on, they'll come out and they'll say, well, we figured out that this does have a purpose, So it just shows you that it's like, wait a minute. Again, it's that waiting for them to tell us.
Okay. Yeah. I just look at the different points of view. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, if we really look at it like birds, the colors, one thing for sure, it's meant to have something to do with mating. So we see that, like you have the male birds are usually much more colorful than the female birds in most species. And male birds build nests to attract the female birds. We have that as well. If you look at I forgot the name of it, it's a weaving bird. It actually weaves leaves together with its beak and string, like sewing it together. It's like, holy smokes. This is amazing. You have spiders that do that. You have ants that do that as well, too. Ants will hold leaves together. And I think there's a species that will hold like a grub. either a grub or a caterpillar and use the silk from that to stitch and hold the leaves together, like with silk. I mean, you look at this stuff and it's saying, you look at spider intelligence using rocks to weigh down the webs to hold it down, to make the ones that I showed that make they make the fake models of themselves. The bigger spider mimic out of the dead bodies and tree debris, and pretty accurate. When you look at it, you say, wow, that does look like a spider on the web. So the spider made a replica, a bigger replica of itself. And those are just two types. You know, you have many different types of this stuff. Brother Ali says, I'm gonna meditate and listen to some Dr. York Funk for a bit. Yeah, man. Yeah, I was thinking, I'm gonna get ready to head for bed too, bro. It's been like 2.5 hours, man. I appreciate you guys in the chat, man. Thank you so much for the support and being here. Mr. X, Scribe, thank him for being here. And tonight I'll probably maybe around 10. Yeah, I'll set it up, and then Wednesday too. So those will be the 2 nights.
Good. Awesome.
Take care.
Have a great night, MB. Thanks.
You too, man. Take care. Have a good night.